Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You all are watching the ESEL Female Pro League Season 1 Frozen Divas. My name is Scared Yet. Alongside me, you've got none other than the handsome Synchro here, my guy. How are you feeling? I know we both were here yesterday as well, but this is a new desk, this is a new event. So, how excited are you for today?
I'm very excited. I'm actually very excited to see the female pros playing. I really look forward to cast with you again. I really look forward to see the games again, especially if they're so crazy like yesterday. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I would give the word back to you, my friend.
And it's gonna be super exciting today. Again, we've got four teams standing up in front of us. We've got Boars Queen taking on Lovely Target, and then Boars Esports will be facing off against Helicopters. Now, all of these teams, and it's a women tournament, so all of these divas will be facing up against each other, and this is a really nice opportunity to boost the competition as well, right, in the entire community. So, as I said, I'm going to be really excited. We've got two of the boards teamed right now. One of them is the Queens, the other ones is the Esports, and both of them will be playing up today. We've got a lot of other teams as well, and you can see all of their logos up here. And fun fact, we've got the female lineup of foot as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Foot playing actually. I know some of them are players. I play with some of them myself. So I'm actually very excited to see them in action as well, especially as 5Q as a team. But I think we can also expect pretty many things from the other teams. I mean, the most teams I actually don't even know, but I think like especially for the female scene, we can definitely going to see some very good games over here.
Yeah, I've got an entire list of all these teams as well. Boars Queen, Lovely Target, Monsters, Zero Vision, Helicopters, Angels, Boars Esports, Phantom, Boars Divine. We've got three of the Boars team, by the way. Witch Please, Crimson Onyx, Foot Esports, Sphinxes, and last but not the least, Bringing Bads. So we've got again some nice divas out here facing against each other, and I'm pretty sure the competition is going to be pretty tough there. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to, especially in this very first matchup itself, right? I want to talk a little bit more about the rosters for these teams, especially for Boars Queens first, because we've got Lixie, Z Krusmi, I hope I pronounced it correctly, Leroy, Oaken, Foxy. While their opponents, Lovely Target, will have Tawadashi in the jungle, Yuki, Venom, Empress Asuna, and Bebe as the roamer. So it's going to be Bebe against Lixie in that roam position.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with the name of the gold laner of Boss Queen, it's the same thing with the team from yesterday with NM. I think we should just call her XX or something like that, so it's easier for us instead of pronouncing a name the whole time wrong. So I think
Yeah,
it's much easier for us like this.
true. I think so. Yeah, but still, you know that XX before the name, it's normally one of those uh, letters that most of the people used to use. All the way back from different titles as well, different games. I remember I used to play the FPS, and that's where one of my friend himself used to name himself as X Unknown. It's a pretty fun thing. A lot of players normally do that, but that's not what we're here after, right? We're here to witness the competition between these teams. We have a look at the schedule as well. People in front of us: Boars Queen will take on Lovely Target. Boars Esports will be facing Helicopters. That's quite the logo of Helicopters. All right.
Yeah, especially we have pretty many boards over here. I mean, I think I saw three
Three.
boss teams in this tournament,
Yeah.
which is actually quite a lot. But I love to see them playing against each other if it comes to the point where they're going to play against each other. I mean, we have boss against boss then. Quite a bit funny, but yeah, you mentioned it right. We are here to watch the best players in the female scene. So I would say we're going for this. Don't waste too much time. So I'm very excited.
True. Especially not just for this one game, right? I'm also excited for how Helicopters are going to play. Before we talk about their rosters or anything like that, with the way how this meta has been going on, considering, A lot of priority is being shown to those gold laners, especially on that Freya, where a lot of times Freya has been banned out, hasn't been allowed through the draft, and if it is, it is hopping into the first half of the picking phase itself. So I think so. A lot of responsibility goes on the shoulder of Crux, me, and as well as Yuki from the side of Lovely Target, because they will be the pivotal players. They will be the players who will have to shoulder the burden of carrying the team if in case it goes to mid or maybe towards the later stages of the game. So it's going to be big to see how they will handle that responsibility.
Yeah, I need to say, especially if we look back to yesterday, it was always in every single game, it was the marksman in the end of the game who carried this game. It wasn't the mid laner or the
Yeah.
jungler, it was in the most games, it was the marksman. So I'm really excited to see if it's here the same. Same for the draft. That's something I'm really excited about as well, because I want to see if it's like in the female scene, maybe a bit different, or as like in the man scene, you know? But that's something I guess we're going to figure out today. I'm really excited for it, and I hope we see some great matches over here. As I also mentioned yesterday, I
True.
don't want to see some fast matches. I want to see matches where everyone really tries to fight for their life for this title, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you want to see all the best of threes there, right? Also, for the people out there, it's the league format, and we will have these teams play against each other. So it's going to be a long, long format there. Plus, the games are going to be best of three. So there's no best of one, no by chance victory. It's all going to be very well orchestrated matches where you either win 2-0 or you go towards that third game and then win out with a 2-1 scoreline. We did see a 2-1 scoreline even yesterday, right? It was in the grand finals itself where you next were able to eventually close out the series by dropping down that second game. But at the end of the day, we really saw that domination coming in from both them as well as the White Army all the way back into those semifinals too. But out here right now between all of these four teams, I know, asking for your prediction just out here like that outright is not correct. But if you had to pick one, just based on the roster and the potential of what these ladies have, who would you pick?
Okay, I need to go. I need to go with my friends. I need to go with Food Esports actually, because as I just mentioned, I play with some of these players from the team, so I need to pick them.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way I can pick another
All
team, to
right.
be honest.
I mean that's understandable as well, right? That roster itself carries a legacy, not just in one title, but in multiple titles. We know Foot being one of those top organizations of Turkey to always show their presence onto the global stages as well in many titles and not just here. It's also pretty nice to see Foot hopping into the MOBA scene itself, especially mlbb. It's nice. It gives a little bit more exposure to the players, a bit of a cushioning as well in terms of them building their own career in esports. So absolutely like that. And I really hope for all the other teams as well, all the other players who are playing, they eventually get the same kind of exposure, rather the same kind of cushioning too. And all the way out here, I mean, the first match is going to be between Boars, Queens, and Lovely Target Synchro. Who do you think is going to win among these two teams?
It's a hard decision. As I just said, I don't know any one of them. I mean, I wish both teams the best of luck, but if I just
Mm-hmm.
go for the name I like more, I need to go with helicopters actually. For the second game, I definitely go for helicopters, and for the first game, I definitely go with lovely target, because I
All
don't
right.
like the Boris name, you know, because it's also pretty much existed in the Europe scene from like a very good team in Europe. So I need to say I'm going for these two teams.
All right, understandable. We just have a look at the roster one more time out here for Bo's Queen. We've got Okun, she's the EXP laner, Foxy being the jungler of the team, Leroy as well as the mid laner with Z Cruz on that goal, Lixie onto that room. The big part about here is the fact that, yes, as much as Zekus will have to carry the team into that late game, I still feel that Foxy is going to be the one to set that momentum, especially in that jungle. Considering she will be going up against Tawadashi, we'll have to see how well she pans out into that jungle role herself. I kind of want to see how these two are going to go up against each other, right? I mean, because there are two kinds of junglers right now. One of them is the assassin style, the other one is going to be the roaming style or the tanky utility jungle style. So it depends on what type of role these girls also want to play. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. If I'm looking right now at the team of lovely targets, I think that Yuki is going to take the carry in this game as gold laner. I mean, she looks insane, and I don't know, she gives me a vibe of carrying and tryharding for her life, you know? So I really think that
Wow.
she's the one who will carry their games in the end.
Carrying, giving that try hard vibes. You just called her out on that. To be honest, yeah, I agree. When you're playing the tournament of this scale, you have to try hard in those games, and if anything, that also gives you some more room to maybe shine among the rest of the people, and that's one thing which I'm pretty sure she'd be able to do. And on the other side of the spectrum, we cannot really forget about that EXP lane matchup, right? We know there's Empress Asuna on one side, and we've got Okun onto the other side, right? EXP sets that front line, it sets the fight in motion. It's not always about the roamers hopping in and taking that initiative. I believe most of the time it is also about the EXP laner, because imagine if you're picking up a Yuzhong or if you're picking up a Lapu Lapu, you need to be the one to initiate those fights. Or if anything, you have to hop in between all of that and take out the enemy mid laner or maybe the gold laner, maybe the jungler if they are going to be the main assassin carry of the game, maybe even if they're playing something like the Yi Sun Shin. So that I think so a lot of responsibility also falls onto their shoulders.
I agree with that definitely, but for me it's like everyone needs to be very good. Everyone, it's like on the shoulders of everyone. It's like a 5v5 team game, you know. So it depends on everyone. If let's just say four people play as good as the other four people from the enemy team, but the last player is playing worse than like the other player in the team, and it's not depending on the draft because they have the same amount of a good draft, you know. Then it depends on who plays better. So I really think it's also going for the whole team in the combination, like which teamwork is much better, which team knows how to play better together, who has maybe more experience in a team, in tournaments, in scrims, etc.
True, that's one of the big things. And to be honest, since we're already on this topic of teams needing to play together, right? Your mid laner is the one who sets up that control into that river. The mid roam coordination, it is going to be crucial. And given how we are yet to see the performance of all of these players, I think so it's going to be really interesting to see how Lixie and Leroy play in that mid against the Tori as well as Sona's duo, right? You both have that mid laner as well as the roam. Having that early control gives you the possibility of rotating faster than your opponents, help your gold laner out, maybe control the game and take care of that momentum from that point onwards. I think so. These are a few things which all of them would have to entirely focus on. So that mid lane that also becomes pretty crucial. And to be honest, I need to talk to you about a certain game which I was seeing yesterday or maybe day before yesterday. It wasn't from the European scene, it was from Indian scene. So the main difference was that 6 out of the 10 bans were the mages ban. It eventually led down to one team picking up, or rather being forced to pick up a Valentina, and then the other team countered us with a Louis pick. I think so draft is going to be the main key for both these teams.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, the draft is always like the most important thing in the game. In the most things, if the enemy team is not playing like much better, doesn't have the much better game knowledge or more experience, then it's mostly just about the draft. Who has the better draft? Who
Yeah,
outplays the enemy draft better? So it really want to go for the draft here. So I'm really excited about it because, as I just mentioned before, I want to see how these teams are going to draft. For the European teams, I mostly know the most bans or picks the most teams can do because I know all these people. But right now, there is only one team which players I know. So I'm very excited about the drafts, about the picks, what they're going to do, what they're going to ban. So I would say we hop into it as soon as possible and we will find out.
expecting the same kind of picks and bans out here, specifically onto the blue side whenever you're playing it here. You are the ones who eventually dictate the draft. So you probably take care of the Eve, maybe ban away the Freya, and also the Valentina, if in case you want to create a question mark about the Jushin and the Sora on the other side. So Red team is kind of reactive in these scenarios, right? With you being on the blue side, you dictate the pace, while the red is the one who answer with that pace, with on that pace. But at the same time, I think so. If you're on the red side, it kind of gives you the opportunity to not just counter the enemy's first pick, but also secure yourself some two solid picks. Given that the current meta is actually pretty vast, and you've got really nice busted heroes, a lot of them to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're going to see the either the Eve or the Zuxinban again, like yesterday, because these are like two heroes, especially the Zuxin. If it's open, you have a big problem if you don't know how to counter it properly, especially if Eve is banned, you know. But I think we can also going for bans like Rock, maybe Fredrin, or like also maybe like heroes for the carry or the Cloud, which we saw yesterday also pretty many times. So I think these are like right now key heroes or like the best meta picks you can do. So I really think we either going to see them be played or to be banned.
It could very well be possible, right? And it also brings in that same discussion about what type of junglers do you really want to play when you're playing in the jungle for Foxy as well as for Tawadashi. Do you want to go in for those tanky junglers? Do you want to prioritize the Fredrin, maybe even the Baxia, sometimes even the Guinevere? Or you might probably want to go into that assassin route where you want to go that Shing 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 Lancelot, maybe the Hayabusa, you try to go for the Oogie Shadow Kill, steal those objectives, maybe play a little bit more aggressive against those mages. It totally depends, and bring it also brings in the team synergy into the picture of how well the team can play around you. We've got the first two bands, people. We've got the Amon along with the Kadita, and now it's going to be the Angela as well. So it seems like the Queens have got their entirely different meta as compared to how the other teams we've seen have played till yet.
That's exactly what I was talking about. I want to see how they ban because when we
Yeah.
again go for yesterday for like some of the best European teams, there wasn't an Angela ban, there wasn't an Amon ban, there wasn't a Uranus ban, there wasn't a Kadita ban. So we see a complete different ban heroes, like complete different
Yep.
priority bans, priority picks probably as well. So I'm really excited for where it will go, you know, because we see the Uranus ban, we
Hmm.
see the Kadita ban, and two supporter bans already. Uh, that's like I don't know how for how many games I didn't saw such bans, but maybe like on their servers or something like this, these are the heroes that are played. These are the heroes that are good, or like the drafts you can make with these heroes. You know?
Probably a read onto the opponent. Just because you don't want to play that Angela Fredrin combination, you just ban out the Angela just to deny that to the other side. And Florin, we know with the Bloom, she is a busted healer at this point. You would rather not face her. Jushin, not gonna go through, regardless of the lineups that are playing here. You know that she is not going through in that first pick. And Freya was left open, so instantly prioritized. And now with the Uranus being banned on the other side, I think so they can try and maybe pick up the Esmeralda early on for lovely target, just to make sure that they're locking down that Freya in the gold lane.
Yeah, but with these bans we see over here, I mean, Zuxin is a good ban for sure. And I mean, they all thinking about something why they're banning these heroes. But right now we have Carry open, Claude is open, Sora is open, Valentina is open, Zetiana is open, Farza is open. So pretty many very strong heroes are open right now. We got the first pick on the Freya, which is completely fine. I completely agree with that. You don't want to play against it, but it's still for me there should have been like maybe some much more bands of prioritized instead of a Florin and Uranus or a Kadita, you know?
I think so. I kind of I would not deny that, but it also depends on what the other side like to play. You've instantly got the Lapu Lapu being picked up alongside with Mia. So yeah, there goes your Claude and carry picks. That ain't happening here. Lapu is a pretty solid pick for that EXP lane, but I think so they're kind of showing their cards a little bit early into this draft, right? With that EXP and gold lane secure, now I think so it becomes even more easy for Boar's Queens to draft against them. Just try and pick something that gives you a good amount of peel, control, and one of them is Alice. And I don't know if, in case Yuki would be able to survive against that Alice on that Mia.
It's a hard decision. Like for me, Mia was always a bad hero, so I don't really want to say about it or talk about it actually. I mean, I hope they prove me wrong because there must be a reason why they're picking Mia. Lapu Lapu, you can never do something wrong with Lapu Lapu. Lapu Lapu is in the most drafts, he's always a good pick. So I actually think that is completely fine. The Mia, I think they proved me wrong, and I hope they will prove me wrong. So may I change my mind about the Mia pick? Faza from the side of ball screen, same as the Alice. Alice, we all know how good she can engage, especially with the flicker. The Faza damage is
Hmm.
bursting down everything. So I'm very excited for how far it will go in these drafts.
That's a pretty big point, I must say. Nana being logged in. It just feels like Lovely Target are just simply going with their comfort picks for this one game. They don't
It
really
feels
care
for me.
about. Yeah, yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. Now you go
You,
first.
you, you, you first, you first.
For me, I feel the Nana pick. It's for me the same thing as the Mia pick actually. I mean, I saw and played against her, and she can be very strong, actually. I mean, if she gets you with her, I don't know, Molina. Sorry if I
Yeah,
said it wrong.
Molina.
If she gets you with your Molina, takes out the damage with her ultimate, you're cooked. You're actually cooked, especially because she can stun so many people at once. Especially if she has a proper tank like a Tigreal or anything who can stun multiple people. So I actually think this Nana pick depends right now on the roam, how good it can work. You know.
Hmm. That I agree. And I think so this should also give an idea to Boar's Queen to ban out some of those setting roamers, like maybe the Tigreal, maybe even the Atlas. Because since we're not going in with the standard meta, I think so we would rather want to go with some of those comfort picks here. Roger is going to be the ban, and I think so that's a target to the jungle directly. Maybe they've got a read on Tawadashi and her hero pool in the jungle, so they're just taking care of Roger.
I need to. I'm going to be honest. Board screens draft looks for me not bad actually. For the side of Lovely Target, it feels for me like a bit.
Mm-hmm.
These are the mostly heroes you see like maybe in the Legend rank or like the low Mythic rank. But I really hope that they have like the plan behind it and know how to play with these heroes very well. Maybe as you just mentioned, maybe these are their comfort picks and they will show us now how strong these heroes can be, especially on their comfort picks. The Roger one. It depends on the draft actually. I don't know if Roger can be that much of a problem for the Freya or the Alice actually. I mean, in the late game for sure, he deals very good damage, but for me also not a bandwidth. But as we just mentioned, these are maybe other regions playing here. These are players we never saw before, so they know what they are doing. And as you
Mm-hmm.
also mentioned before, we are here in a tournament, so everyone is tryharding. Everyone tries their best to win, tries to take the title. So I'm not judging any one of the picks or of the bands because I really think there is a reason behind it.
And now Minotaur, I think so that's a pretty nice ban from Boar's Queen because they've got a pretty hefty dive with the Freya as well as the Alice. So a Minotaur is a heavy anti-dive hero. With the Minoan Fury can instantly stop you from pursuing towards the Mia and the Nana. So that's a really solid ban. And I like the idea of Lovely Target as well. As you said, maybe they've got some kind of read as well. Maybe that's the players are from the different region who are now coming together playing here, so they've got their own meta device. But one thing is certain, they know that Boar's Queen can go for a straight up dive onto the Mia, onto the Nana, and they've got nothing to stop this Fanny. So they instantly ban her out, not giving any chance to Boar's Queen to pick that one up. And Lovely Target locking the Hayabusa for themselves. Alright. A pseudo dive in the form of Lapu Hayabusa with the backline support coming in from Nana with the Molina's Blitz. All they need to do is just pick up a roamer that can save the life of this Mia and the Nana. Apart from that,
Yeah,
everything else is pretty solid.
yeah, I think so as well. I mean, the Fanny Bun, I really like it, especially with the draft. They have two very squishy heroes with the Nana and the Mia, and the Fanny can do pretty much against them. But if we're looking right on the draft right now,
Hmm.
I still feel for Boss Screen. It looks much better for me.
Yeah,
They have the Alice, they have the Freya, they can easily engage on them. Like, even the Mia, if the Mia gets stunned one time, she can be bursted down so fast by the Faza. Same for the Nana.
true.
But otherwise, the Nana can also burst down the Faza pretty quickly if she gets her. So we're seeing a Leomord as well. We're seeing the Hylos. So they completely going for the dive. They have everything to dive in. The Faza in the backline can easily take the enemies out with the ultimate. So I think Lovely Target has a real problem right now in this game because they have nothing to go against it. The only one who can maybe go for the backline is the Lapu Lapu right now, or the Mia with the ultimate.
Hmm.
But actually think that the Faza will have too much front. She has the Hylos, she has the Freya, she has the Alice, she has the Leomord. So she has
True.
so many frontline and allies in the front that it will be pretty hard for Lovely Target to take out the Faza. And
Now here's
I
the
don't
one
know.
thing, I kind of like the draft of Boar's Queens as well. I agree with you. They've got everything that they need in order to quickly take control of that game, dive to the enemy backline, decide when they want to engage and disengage at the same time with the glorious pathway. Lovely target on the other side. Yeah, things seem tough. They don't have a proper front line except for Asuna on the Lapu Lapu. And this is what we were discussing as well during the pre-game segment, that Asuna needs to provide that front line and set her team up for success if in case they want to win. The idea is clear. Asuna Tawadashi hop in on Farsa, try to burst her down before she goes in with the feathered airstrike. And for the side of Boar's Queen, simply just go all gung ho on Mia and Nana. Take both of them down and easily secure that fight as well as this game, ladies and gentlemen. As we move forward into the land of dawn out here, Boar's Queen on the blue side taking on Lovely Target onto that red side. You're watching the ESEL Female Pro League Frozen Diva Season 1.
But the question is, do you think the Lapu Lapu has the chance to engage this easily onto the Faza?
I mean, there's no one to stop him.
I mean, they have pretty much. If as soon as the stun is out, he is cooked. Faza has a Purify, so even if you use Flicker with his stun, she can easily get out afterwards with a bird, you know? And I mean, if she's making a positioning pretty good over here, it will be pretty hard for Lapu Lapu to go on her.
But then also you give a bit of an angle for Tawadashi to hop in, right? So that's also something you'd have to be worried about. Since Hylos will be putting down the glorious pathway to dive in, along with Okun giving the setup with the Thorn of Ruin and Foxy trying to catch everyone with the Phantom Steed, it kind of leaves the Farsa open and not with a lot of defenses. So that's something which I feel maybe Lovely Target can capitalize on. It's a very slim win condition, but they still have it.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams definitely have the win condition. I mean, I also see.
Wow. Hold on. You talk about the win condition and instantly we see Tawadashi being bursted down on that Hayabusa. Just not being able to check that burst. It is the dangerous grass and you never want to be caught in a position like that. Big play coming in from Boar's Queen. And yes, Synchro, hopping back onto what you were saying.
What I wanted to say was, I think in this game it depends on which team plays better the micro and the macro. Because if they're doing it very good, I think there is no chance. Go ahead.
And Thorn throwing down onto that, two people out there, but still the turtle was stolen away by Tawadashi. Foxy gets taken down. Tawadashi will survive. The HP is just absolutely low. Tiggy brings you back with the reverse time as well as Leroy will not turn into the Molina. The Purify coming in at clutch to save her life. A big turtle steal into a kill. A lovely target are bringing themselves back in this game. And hold on, Okun seems to be in trouble. The Shadow eventually taken down. Okun is left on a no woman's land as she gets busted through those shurikens. Lovely target. They get the win.
As you just mentioned, maybe Lovely Target shows us now why they picked these heroes. And they're doing it right now very good. They went into the gold lane. They went for the kills. They forced almost every skill out. So it's actually pretty good. And that's what I just wanted to say. It depends right now on who's playing better on the micro and the macro, actually. Because the team who plays it better will win, for sure.
Let's have a look at the items as well. Yeah, I agree. As of now, it is, again, Lovely Target just controlling those fights. But if you talk about that mid lane clear, right, you know that Farsa and Hylos have got better wave clear in the mid lane, so they should be able to control that river, which gives a little bit more room for Zekas to work with on that Freya, knowing that there's no threat taking her down in here. But again, look at that wave freeze. Yuki is only level 4. Zekus is already level 5. And she's still
Yeah,
freezing the waves.
yeah, that's what I just wanted to mention. It's pretty crazy how long she's staying in the bush and just waiting for Mia to come out. But the second turtle is coming up right now. We have a gold lead, not really much actually. It's just a few hundred golds, so it's still decent. It's not like one side is winning the game right now already. It's still like a complete same play. Like both teams have the same chance right now. Both teams can win. Both teams need to, and that's the Faza kill.
Wow, shadow kill onto that backline. This is exactly what I was talking about. But Bebe would not be able to survive as well onto that diggy. Already used up the time journey as well, so nothing was available. And now with no Oogie shadow kill, things are going to be troublesome. But there we go. And Shaker connecting onto absolutely no one. Thornofroy in the backline. Yuki immobilized will have to use the moonlight blades to try and run back to safety. Good zone coming in, but Empress Asuna can't do anything else for her team. She did everything. But even after that, that turtle still goes in for Bo's Queen. Everyone's going to be going back in. Another Oogie shadow kill. Tawadashi will retreat back to safety. Reverse time to stop Zekas in her own tracks. It's been pretty brawly though, but Bo's Queen come out on top.
Yeah, you just mentioned it right. It looks like very brawly. They're fighting very much, even though if there are not many kills coming out, but they're fighting so much. Both teams getting poked low, need to go back, come back, go fight again, need to go back to base again, going fight again. But I feel it's now the third time I'm seeing the Faza a bit out of position. She makes it so easy for the Hayabusa to go on her and try to kill her. And that's like something she needs to immediately need to stop to do. Because if she's continuing to doing that, the Hayabusa will have zero problems to take her out, in, especially in the late game. And that will be a huge problem for the side
Oh,
of War Screen in the late game.
I agree. It could have been a big feather airstrike out here. But again, that Molina, that has been the problem. Venom on this Nana. She's been pretty annoying to deal with, I'll be honest. Asuna, this could be a death burst trap out here. Reverse time to try and get them back, but it's a solid die. Baby gets taken down instantly. But the Oogie shadow kill again to take down Leroy. She's been caught multiple times. Raging slashes to try and save the life of Asuna for a second as the quad shadows are popped in. Just for Tawadashi to deal a bit of that poke damage. It is still a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, but it's still a bit hard to watch because that's what I just mentioned for the positioning of the Faza. She's always out of positioning. Her team is not covering her up, and then the Hayabusa can easily jump on her and take her out. Same thing is for the Diggy. He used his ultimate now a bit too early, and that's where the reason they could take out the kill from the lovely target.
Now they're just forcing
But
out those ultimates as well to try and force that
yeah,
mid lane, but none of that is happening out. The wave clear is pretty good from Lovely Target. And I must say, if things continue like this, in the late game, they do have a good scaling. They've got the Mia with the entire crit build. She is going to have so much attack speed, including the Inspire, that she would technically become the assassin.
yeah, I think so. I really think so. But we're going now for the third turtle fight, and we see.
Oh, yeah, Zekus instantly being taken down, and once that Freya is gone, you don't really have a lot of source of your damage. It needs to be that Leo mod, but guess what? Foxy, she knows who her target is, but eventually goes in for Bebe. Elixir's been traded off as well. Thanks to that Hayabusa, now Okun will have to retreat back to safety. A decent amount of burst damage. Asuna still wants to try and chase Foxy down. Flicker used up. And then again, it is that Alice who's not being bursted down. Yuki was not present in that team fight. They're still getting zoned by this Alice. You have to have another feathered airstrike. The passive forced out of Nana. Venom will have to go back. After
I th-
everything, Boar's Queen are still bullying Lovely Target out of that river.
Yeah, but I need to say it's like a bullying from both sides because it's always like changing. Once Ball Screen is bullying a Lovely Target, then Lovely Target is bullying Ball Screen. But I really think that this Alice will be a huge problem right now, especially till the mid or end game, because no one can burst her down. No one deals really damage to her, so it will be pretty hard to take her out.
Oh, Foxy sustaining through everything! Barely surviving by the skin of her teeth, man. That was so very close. But after all of that, we still have the Freya trying to hop in with the Valkyrie descent as well. Baby needs to run away. Venom with no passive will be bursted down instantly. She gets a double kill for herself. And now there's Yuki who's joining the fight, but she does not have the damage, neither the attack speed. Has to use the hidden moonlit to try and reposition as Lixie hopped into the fight too. Along with everyone, the Landshaker being popped in, raging slashes, not there, will have to walk back. Empress Asuna behind the lines, Tawadashi, Yugi, Shadow Kill, all of that soaked up by Zekas, and now we've got the Phantom Street coming in from Foxy, but everyone is already going back.
Yeah, and now at this point we see that Boss Queen will have the Lord without any problems from the side of Lovely Target because they poked down the Hayabusa, which they did very good. Hayabusa needed to go back, which means free Lord for the side of Boss Queen. I mean, Lovely Target could have tried to like kite it and like waste a bit of time for the side of Boss Queen, just kite them, push them around so they can't clear the slot this fast so the Hayabusa came back, but they didn't even try to do it. So that was the reason Boss
Oh,
Queen got the free Lord over here.
this is one of the big things about Mia, right? She can survive by using the hidden moonlit, but maybe not the same for Tawadashi getting shut down by Zekas there. Instantly taken out, and Venom, yeah, she's just a Nana. No way she's surviving that. A bonk from the top with the feathered airstrike. Leroy instantly catching her, and now Empress Asuna needs to make a run for her life. She does have the ultimate available, so she can run away with the bravest fighter. Would not be required to use, just running her way down all the way towards that tier 2, which should fall though in the slot attack.
I think so. I think so. I think they will definitely get another turret. Maybe take out the passive of the top turret right now, and maybe they are able to get the mid lane as well if they're playing it right. But here again, Farza is just staying there using ultimate. The team is not covering her up, and that's a free kill for the Hayabusa as well. And
Yeah, but
as we just
again,
mentioned,
everyone was just trying to take down Empress Asuna, but she is Asuna. You can't shut her down like that. There's a reason why she's called the Sword Queen from Sword Art Online, and you could see that sword play. Getting that passive of the shield up, and then with the time journey too, that is a ton of sustain. And then the raging slash is used upon 3 people, giving a ton of HP back to her as well. She still survived out of all of that. And the only casualty was Leroy on that Farsa, which you have been mentioning multiple times too, has been picked off by Tawadashi time after time. And the fight continues here with the glorious pathway as well. They still want to try and catch all of them. Thorn of Ruin maybe in the back line. None of that is happening. Low HP. And that's the burst of Mia which I was talking about. Hidden Moonlit. Used up again to reposition. Empress Asuna is going to be taken down this time. No one to stop her, or rather save her life. Zekas on that Freya has been so on point.
oh damn, this is a crazy game. I actually don't know where to start over here. It's We see the gold difference, which is very huge, especially for the side of Freya and Leomord over here. They got very much gold lead, and if we look for the Nana and the Diggy, they pretty much behind. They are like almost 1 to one and a
GG's.
half K gold lead behind, which
Oh my god.
will be a very huge problem for them actually. Because Nana, she needs her items to deal the damage and to be able to take out the Freya, the Faza. She needs the items, but if she keeps up farming like this and not getting a gold, there is not much chance for the side of Lovely Target to take out these enemies. I mean, sure, they have the Mia, they have the Hayabusa who's doing a great job taking out the Faza, but it's not enough, especially on the team fights. But we see the next Lord fight. I think this will probably go for the side of Force Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, with the Leomord's execution line, you've got a ton of it now. Asuna taken down the back line, everything's open. Yuki will run back with the Hidden Moonlit again. Just being forced to reposition onto this Mia multiple times. She's going 202. So that is the saving grace of Lovely Target. But with the amount of dive that is coming in from Boar's Queen, Lovely Target is not able to do a lot to that beefy front line. You have got the high loss, you've also got Zekas hopping in with a ton of shield from a skill 1, as well as then the Valkyrie's descents, enhanced regen effects. Then you've got Oaken 2, Lexi, Oaken, Zekas, all of them on your face, and then you add up the Leomord too on that Barbiel. Good luck surviving all of that. Baby should eventually be taken down, or at least the time journey forced out right before that fight. Well, Lord will be
Yeah.
marching from up top. This is a big resource out. Hold on.
Oh,
Tavadoshi bursted in a second.
they will have a huge problem now. Lovely Target has a very huge problem now. They have the ultimate of Alice and Leomord still. Diggy has no ultimate, so they can easily dive them right now in the turrets. Because there is no one to stop them. Hayabusa is dead, he can't take out the Father right now. So it all depends on the Alice play and how fast they will be able to defend this, if they even able to defend this.
There's a big wave up from top as well. Now Yuki is forced to use the hidden moonlit too. Lord marching down onto the base. Crystal being capitalized, or rather being taken down low in that HP. Time journey used up at the right second, just to give some extra bit of shield as well to Asuna, as she still tries to sustain through. Zekas will be surviving through all of that. Another glorious pathway to hop in for the re-engage. The feathered air strike will catch two in the back line. Bebe falls as well, and unstoppable for the Phantom Steed Leo. Base is open, and we get the game number one going in favor of Boar's Queen.
Amazing game. I need to say amazing game. I didn't expect it from the side. Really didn't expect it that they were able to play this good with the draft. Boss Queen did it so well, but I didn't expect the enemy opponents to play this good with the draft. For me, as I just mentioned, Mia and Nana aren't like picks that get usually picked or like in the meta right now. So while Boss Gaming focus on the meta. So I really need to say still shout outs to this team because they did it still very good, especially the Hayabusa. He took out the Faza whenever he could. He saw her, he went for her, and that's every single time. He did it actually so good. Also the Diggy, he used his ultimate every time. And a thing that was negative for me, in my opinion, the Alice. They know the Diggy didn't have the ultimate, but Alice didn't went for the engage. She had multiple options to going in with her ultimate, but decided to wait, which in the end they did it. Still, they did it with in the end. I mean, in the end, Diggy used the ultimate. Afterwards, Alice decided to go, but I could have ended, I guess, like a minute earlier if Alice decided to go in much further.
Yeah, I agree, and that has been the thing, right? That the engages with Alice, sometimes they were delayed, but again, most of the times you still would see at least 2 men, 3 men Thorn of Ruin, and after every single skill being used up to take down either the Farsa or maybe Elixir on that front line, you had Alice roaming on your face with nothing to take her down. Even though there was this Mia, I thought maybe Yuki would be able to carry on in that late game, but again, here's the thing. She went for the Wind Talker as well as the Berserker's Fury, right? Then you've got to wait for Hearth's Claw to get your main power spike. And that's one of the reasons why I like building Wind Talker as the third item on the marksmen who depend on that crit. Because Hearth's Claw, Berserker's Fury, you've got your power spike, and the second item, you can take the fights with those tanky people. Or if not the tanky people, at least take down those squishier targets, especially after you use the Arrow of Eclipse to immobilize them. But that wasn't just happening. They didn't have enough damage, and the dive was just a little bit too much. Diggy with the reverse time is only able to stop one, right? You can't stop four people who are hopping directly in your backline.
The thing, in my opinion, which also was negative for the draft of Lovely Targets, they were like too based on the late game. Because Mia is, we all know her, she's a very strong late game hero if you come into the late game. Same for the Nana, she's also very strong in the late game. But there's the fact you need to come into the early to be this strong and use your heroes like you want to. But there wasn't even a chance to came into this late game. But at some points, I actually thought they had the chance to win. They played it so good, they won the team fights, etc. So I really need to say still shoutouts to Lovely Target for playing it so well. But my question is, do you think that draft will change now after this game? Or do you think they will again go for drafts like this with maybe again the Mia pick and the Nana pick?
I think so. It should change. I'll be brutally honest. The Farsa just outscales the Nana in terms of that range as well as the burst potential. The first two items were just enough. You had the glowing wand as well, not even a genius wand. So you could clearly see the amount of pressure that Leroy was able to put, especially in terms of that range with the bonks. Yes, even though Tawadashi was catching her a couple of times when she was being left alone, which again we both pointed out in the draft that the Farsa will be left alone when the rest four of the people will be diving on the enemy backline. So that definitely gave some moments of glory to Tawadashi, but apart from that, she was just getting picked off by that beefy front line too. She couldn't, let's just say, quad shadow on time. Eventually, that just one law and order was enough for the rest of the members to burst her down. A lot of problems, and it was the draft. So yeah, I personally feel you should change that. If anything, prioritize the Eve, right? Not instead of the Nana, maybe take the Eve, just so you have that similar bit of range as the Farsa.
I completely agree with you. I would also go for another mid lane picker for sure. But the thing is, as you just mentioned, right, Tawadashi had his glorious moments. But the point that the side of Boars were so tanky, they didn't even have the chance to burst them really down. They needed 3 or 4 people to kill to be able to kill someone. So that's like something, especially they need to change in the draft. If the enemies go for a draft like this, like Boar said, I mean, carry was open. So they could have actually picked also in carry, which would have been much, much
Yeah,
better in this
true.
draft to burst down their tanky heroes. But they decided to go for Mia, which isn't a bad pick. I mean, it's not an usual pick, but it's not a bad pick. Every hero has its use. You can use every hero, especially if you know how to play these heroes. But I need
True.
to say, especially on the micro, macro, and team play, I definitely give the point on this game to Wars. Not even because they won, but they just did it better. For sure, there were like maybe 1 or 2 mistakes while not covering up their mid laner, so he could be easily taken out by the enemy jungler. But in the end, they did it. They won, and that's what we're here for. We're here to winning, and that's what everyone wants
Yeah,
to get. Everyone wants to take the win. So, congrats for the first win.
I think so. It's going to be a Freya ban from Lovely Targets, considering the amount of problems that Zekus was causing on that gold lane, just directly jumping into that back line, no one to stop her. So those are some problems as well, which Lovely Targets encountered. Bo Queens on the other side, as you rightfully mentioned, there were just a few issues in terms of their coordination of where they wanted to engage, especially around that first turtle as well. There were certain iffy moments from them. But apart from that, it was pretty decent. They knew what they need to do with that draft. They were able to get control of those bushes. And let's be honest, if in case you're playing dangerous grass, you see a lot more ganks. Right? There's some extra bushes that are added. Some bushes are extended too. So there's so many more places, and peeling becomes even more crucial. And I'll be honest, Lovely Targets did not have anyone who could peel for them. Even though, yes, you can technically say you've got a Lapu Lapu, but we clearly saw Asuna was getting bursted down as well. She needed that time journey to be a little bit more tanky. And if you use the time journey to save the life of a Lapu Lapu, that means now you've got the Thorn of Ruin, which is going to cause you problem. You've got the Phantom Steed used up, which will be problematic to deal with. And then there's the Valkyrie's Descent on that Freya, just ignoring every single thing in between and dropping down to the backline. These were the problems which eventually Bose Queen made sure Lovely Targets faced. And since we're talking about the MVP, we're going to be hopping it in the hands of Lixie.
Such great. Not I'm not gonna lie, she did it so well. She did it so well. And if we see on the numbers, 22,222 damage taken is good. I mean, it wasn't like a long game, but here we see in a normal game, people tank much more damage. But here we see she was MVP with like such a low amount of damage tanking. If we see for tanky heroes, they normally tank like 50 to 100,000 damage. And that's like something where we see, okay, the side didn't have the damage as they usually should have had. But that's also, in my opinion, if we're going for the draft again, what I was missing here was the stun, like the engagement for the side of Lovely Target, my bad. I really missed the engagement
Mm-hmm.
heroes. They had no proper stun, they had no proper engage. They had the Diggy, but he is not able to. protect his teammates. He's not able to let them stay alive. Sure, he has his ultimate, but he can use it only once. And the side of Boars had so much stun, so much CC, so much engagement skill that Diggy was useless actually. Sure, he had his ultimate for one time, for one engage, but the rest of the team could easily engage without any trouble.
Exactly. And we did see those problems showing up for lovely targets as well. Let's have a look at the items which every single one of them built. Again, pretty straightforward build for the Frey and the Hands of Zekas with the Corrosion Scythe, War Axe, as well as the Sea Halberd, Lightning Truncheon directly into your Holy Crystal. That's why you could see that insane burst damage hopping in. Lovely targets had no Athena shield except for Asuna, and even in that late game, that Athena shield is not going to help him a lot because of the constant magic damage that is coming in from Okun. So you don't have that instant burst of magic defense. The passive goes on the cooldown for a certain few seconds, but if you take the magic damage during that time, if you're still in some kind of fight, that passive does not reset. And I believe that is what Okun was utilizing against Asuna too during those team fights. So few problems coming in, but I really don't like the Sky Piercer on Yuki. Yes, you're a
Yeah,
Mia. You've not died once, but yeah, that I don't like that.
yeah, I think she could have built also items like Demon Hunter or going for a Trinity build actually, which would have been much more
Has
useful
claw.
against these two. Yeah, Hardcore for sure is needed, but in the end, a Trinity build would be much better in this teamfight composition for Boars
Hmm.
because they were just
I
too
think so.
tanky.
I agree. I agree. I mean, they definitely were tanky, so you do need that Demon Hunter sword as well. But I personally feel that a Malefic gun along with the crit build would have also helped you in the similar manner. It is just the fact that, let's be honest, the Harslow Berserker's Fury crit build gives you a lot more burst onto the squishier targets, as well as it provides you a good amount of heal. Demon Hunter Sword does that, but you need to be a Claude or a carry to eventually utilize that. You've also got the Inspire, which you can pop in, so both of those builds could have been fine. So yeah, I kind of agree. Maybe going in with the Trinity would have been a nice choice, or completing the crit build would have been the nice choice. Leaving the crit build half built up with just the Berserkers and the Windtalker, and then going for the Sky Piercer wasn't really a great way of hopping in onto that build. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think so. There's quite a few things they need to fix before moving in this game number two.
yeah, I think there is like many items that would have been much more useful than the Sky Piercer. In generally, I would say Sky Piercer on Mia is a thing I don't know. I really don't know about what I should think about it actually. I mean, I think
It's
it
not
can be
good.
very strong, especially if the enemy team is like very squishy, then it can be very strong, especially if you have the burst damage. But against tanky heroes, I don't feel like it has the use it should have, because you're not able to burst the enemies down this fast, so it will be pretty hard to get the use of the Sky Piercer, especially if you're losing the game and your team is not winning every team fight.
I agree. At this point, I just feel that they've got to forget about what happened in the previous game and focus down onto the next one. Adapt in the draft, change a few things, maybe ban out the Freya, don't let her go. Those are a few things which I personally feel they need to fix up before they move into that game number two. Otherwise, this could very well be a very fast 2-0 in favor of Boars Queen, and we might be looking at Boars Esports taking on their game against Helicopter as well. So, if anything, they'd rather need to focus down here in the second game to win this one out and maybe force us into that game number three. But for that, yeah, the draft, and that's the only thing which I can constantly think of. Giving away the Freya, also giving away the High Loss along with the Leomord. Those are some very powerful picks. Like Leomord straight up wins in the jungle fight against the Hayabusa.
Yeah, they definitely went for a meta draft. They had pretty much, yeah, almost like full meta picks to be honest. While the side of Lovely Target went more for non-meta heroes. But here we going in for the draft, and that's something I really like to see right now because it's a complete different to what we're seeing in the previous tournaments, in the previous games. because here heroes getting banned, which I never even think about going to ban, you know.
True.
But we're seeing.
Until and
I think
unless you're
this
in the
is right
second
now.
phase.
Yeah, this is a respect ban. Alice did a very good job, and now we see Lovely Target immediately going out for the Alice ban, which is completely fine. While Board Screen is taking the same bans as last game. Also, Lovely Target
Yep.
banned again the Uranus. I mean, he is a strong hero. He can be very strong in the right hands, especially with a good team up. But still, I need to
Yep.
say for me, I mean, if the drafts are going like this, it's completely fine to ban these heroes. Maybe there are some one tricks or maybe some heroes or players who are comfort pick these heroes. But still, in my opinion, there are like you should focus more on the meta. You should focus more on the meta bans, like because as we just saw in the last game, the meta draft just won, and it wasn't like an easy win. They didn't destroy them, but they definitely it showed that they have the better heroes, the better draft. And here we also see the Freya one, which is also I really agree on banning her because she did also a very great job on the Freya, and they don't want to play against her again. But what do you
I
say
think so.
to the
One of
support
the
bans?
Yeah, I think so. They're just specifically targeting Bebe. That's all. She probably likes to play the Angela Florin a lot, and maybe the team feels very comfortable around those two picks as well, with the extra bit of healing in the question. So maybe it's just a straightforward target ban, target Bebe, and then we can prioritize the rest of the things.
But that's something you shouldn't do. That's something you shouldn't have left open, in my opinion. We see the first time now Zuxin. I really love, I really love it. They went for the first pick Zuxin. Pretty good, very good. But yes, as you just mentioned about Bebe, I think when I remember it right, I saw today a message on the ESL Discord server. Everyone also able to join, by the way, from Bebe, where she announced herself as support player. So I really think it's actually like banning her heroes out.
Exactly. That's the main thing. That's why I said that they're probably targeting Bebe out. They're forcing her onto that Diggy pick. Just take away the comforts, and that's all you need to do. I think so. This is about time where you try and prioritize Bebe if she can play the Minotaur. Like just simply lock it in to give her something that she feels comfortable with.
I Yeah, that's completely true. But I really want to see right now from Boss Queens. I wanted just to say it. I want to see a Grog or a Gato Kacha. This hero in combination with Zuxian is a menace. You can burst down these enemies so good. You have the protection, you have the engage. Everything's perfect. From the side of Lovely Target, we have the Hayabusa and Vexana. Tabadashi, we saw his performance on the Hayabusa. She were able to take out some kills. I actually excited to see if Leroy will play with the same positioning like she did in the last game, and if Tabadashi is able to take her out again, like easy as in the last game. Same we see also the Vexana. I think Vexana can be a very strong pick if you know how to use her, but I think in the matchup against Zuxin, it's not a very good pick to be honest, especially not a counter pick to the side of Zuxin.
I do like this Guinevere pick, I'll be honest. I mean, but here's the thing, it needs to go into that roam position in the hands of Bebe. I don't know where this is exactly going, so that's going to be something to watch out for. I really hope it is not. If it's EXP lane as well, then that is something. It might be a little bit problematic too, because you'd still want to go in with a tanky route, and I don't see her as the best counter against Esmeralda unless you're landing in those spatial migrations. So that could be a problem. You ban out a Fanny again, just not allowing Boar's Queen to have another dive in their hands. I think so. They should ban out the Leo mod too.
Leomord, I I think especially with Genevieve, it's able to play against Leomord, but still I would like to see a Leomord ban because a Leomord is a very
Yep.
strong jungler right now, and Genevieve needs to be able to even hit him with a stun and a jump. If he's not hitting him, she's completely cooked and will probably die. And we see also from the side of Boss Queens, we see the Esmeralda. And right now, I see nothing in the side of Lovely Target who's able to burst it down. So they need to go for the proper marksman. They need to get a damage dealer. They need to have something this game to burst down these enemies. We're seeing War Screens also banning the Mia and the Leslie right now. So they're going for two marksman bans, which is completely fine. They want to take out the enemy marksman. It's great. It's actually great. For the side of Lovely Target, they're going for the jungler bans, Joy and Fanny. I don't know if it's the best bans they could have done. I mean, especially after we saw the Leo mods, but maybe the jungler of Boss Queens is a Fanny Joy player. We don't know. I don't know these players, but we will see where they are going for right now. We see
It
Minotaur.
should be a Leo pick. Yeah, Bebe again. As I said, she's a pretty good support player with the Angela Florent Bandau. The only other thing that she could potentially pick up is the Minotaur, and also works decently well against the dive that's coming in from the other side. Now, before locking in the jungle, they prioritize their gold laner, and it's the Irithel. No Claude, no carry. Interesting. They also lock in the Leo mod as well, side by side. So, lovely target. Final pick for them. What can you pick to maybe counter that? You need your own marksman. I think so. Carry should be the way to go here.
Yeah, I definitely go with the carry pick as you just mentioned. They need something to burst down the Esmeralda, the Leomord, and the Grok. Because right now, as we just mentioned before, they don't have like the burst damage on tanky heroes like a Grok and Esmeralda. Leomord
Yeah.
may still be able to get poked down and bursted down by a Genevieve or on Hayabusa, but not the Grok and not the Esmeralda. So we definitely need to see the burst damage over here. So I really want to see the carry actually.
Even a Claude would work. Like anything. Claude or carry. But what?
Okay, wait. If we're watching on the signs right now, it says this Yuki is going Vexana gold lane.
Interesting
Tell me,
is what
tell
I'll
me
say.
something about this. Tell me something about it.
Wish I wish I knew. I mean, you can't out rotate the Irithel. All you can do is try and outrange her, maybe poke her a little bit in the gold lane. But if you're talking about the late game scaling, you know Irithel will have that much more better. And everything that you have on board, apart from one, is going to be the magic damage. So Radiant Armors, Athena Shields, once the priorities are made, two of your heroes will be utterly useless in that late game. It's only going to be Tawa Dashi on that Hayabusa. So I don't know, man. This is looking a little bit difficult out here. It is tough to see, but we've got all the heroes up in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. We've got lovely target taking on Boar's Queen.
I mean, we see in MPL and the M series, we see heroes picked like Suyu or YSS on the gold lane. So maybe the Vexana is also something that got tried out on the gold lane is may good. Who knows? But we're definitely going to find out this game. What is the intention behind this pick on the gold lane? And I I don't know what to say about it actually. Because Vexana is used to hit her stun, like if people are walking straight or she can predict her enemies. But Irithel isn't a marksman you can just predict where she's going to walk. And here we get the
Wow.
first kill out in the mid lane. Such great team play between Grok and Zuxin, they did it very good. But as I just said, to come back for what I wanted to say, Irithel isn't like that easy to you. You don't know where she's going to walk, where you need to put your skills. She can just shoot while she's attacking you. So I don't think that she has that much use against an Irithel actually.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. And also in the bottom lane, now you can see Empress Asuna getting poked down a bit as well. Early levels being given on the other side. And now with the CXP crab. Oh, I thought it's going to go to Okun, but no. Out in mid lane, Tawadashi trying to catch an angle onto Leroy, but doesn't really want to commit with the Yugi shadow kill there. Didn't really have enough damage, plus Lixie along with the minions were all there for the damage to be spread out. Venom going a
The big
bit too
problem right
ahead,
now for
not
both.
yet level 4. Yeah, that I don't think so. They'd all want to hop in though. Big stun coming in with a tech charge, but it's only on Okun. Turtle secured easily by Foxy as the HP is pretty low of Empress Asuna. She'll be bursted down first, and now Bebe seems to be the next one on the chopping block. Will run away. Thanks to that flicker as well used up early on in that fight. But a win for Lovely Target indeed. Down in the mid fight, up on top. Yuki is being zoned out. Another cannon minion missed out. This is bad.
Yeah, that's the huge problem we're going to see right now over here. Vexana against Irithel, in my opinion, something that can't work. No matter how good you play your Vexana, that's something that can't work out, in my opinion. I mean, Irithel don't just I don't know. She doesn't outrange Vexana, but she has like a higher skill pressure. Irithel can much faster rotate on you. She can attack you while she's walking, so it's pretty hard for the Vexana to even hit her. And that's what we see over here. And the same thing, especially for the first turtle fight. We saw that the Cardita got took out. She wasn't level 4 for the turtle, which was a huge problem for the side of Lovely Targets. Again, and that's like we're seeing it right now. Vexana has
Yuki
no
just.
chance in this game.
Yeah. And she's just getting bullied at this point in the lane. Not really the best pick out in that gold lane. I agree. I think so. It was also just to pick up so that there's no counter to glue on that side. It's a bit weird to see Vig's gold that too so early on. The only idea could be to use the deadly grasp on time and connect it onto multiple targets while landing in the eternal guard as well on them. Okun almost getting caught out there alone though, but it doesn't matter. She has got that purify available too if in case things get tricky. And Foxy going in with the flame retribution too will steal away the attack, so will deal a lot more damage to you than you would eventually think. Tawadashi needs to go in with the Ugi shadow kill. Retri isn't there, it doesn't matter. Not able to take down Leroy, was able to dash away. The Eternal Guard comes in to knock up too, but it again Yuki is just left alone on an island. Flicker on cooldown, and so is herself. As the respawn timer kicks in now, out alone. Tawadashi being bullied out of her own jungle. Make it 2 as well. Oh, almost picking away Asuna there, but she's still able to sustain for a few more seconds. Foxy will eventually fall, thanks to the grab as well as the slam now will still be taken out thanks to the damage coming in from Zushin with the lantern flare as she picks up the Sky Piercer and gets ready for the next few rounds.
Yeah, you mentioned it right. The problem right now, especially for Lovely Target, is Boss Queen is in the gold lead with almost 4k gold lead, which means if we're just taking it for the gold, it's almost 2 items, which is a huge advantage for the side of Boss Queens. We see the Sky Piercer on the Zuxin already finished. Everyone of Boss Gaming already finished their first item, while Lovely Target is still going on. Not even one of them finished their first item. And that's what we see here. We see the damage output of the side of the Boss Queens. They're doing it so good. They have such high damage output, and they're winning these teams fight so easily. I feel pretty bad to say it, but in my opinion, it's not just a macro diff right now. It's also a huge draft gap. Because we see Vexana on the gold lane. I actually don't know. We just mentioned it a few times. I don't know what to say about it, actually.
It is again, I mean, we'll be honest about it. Alright, for the Lightning Transient, I think so I can see the idea towards the late game. But that needs to be a big bombo combo. If it's not, then yeah, I don't see anything else happening. They've got the Lightning Transient coming in though. This could be an overengage coming in from Okun. Okay, shadow kill, eventually into the shurikens, able to take her down though, not without a trade. Killing spree for Leroy, 10 stacks onto that Sky Piercer already. And with that, they should take care of this turtle as well. No one to go for the retry combination. Asuna is there, but it's only the split. It doesn't matter. Eternal Guard drop down another burst with the rough waves, but no one is getting bursted down there. And Leroy will shut Venom down. Seems like she herself is the antidote.
I mean, you're completely right. They have the damage in the late game, for sure. But we see from the side of Esmeralda, Zuxin and Irithel the Purify. So, either the stun of Cardita or Vexana, or the ultimate of Minotaur will be useless. If they all dodge Minotaur's ultimate, it will be pretty hard for the Cardita and the Vexana to even get the use of the damage they can do. So I think it will still be very huge problem for the side of Lovely Target to win this game and come back into this game. Because we already see the 5k gold lead, we see the turret lead, we see the turtle lead. Right now, War Screen is in every single lead, and they can take these fights so easily because they doesn't have anything to burst down War Screen, and that's the huge problem right now for Lovely Target, because they lack again the damage. They lack especially the burst damage in the late, as we already mentioned. They don't have the burst damage again against the Grok and Esmeralda in Leomord. They're just missing the burst damage, and that's a huge problem for them right now. Because sure, Kadita makes good damage, but if they're building Athena, okay, Kadita doesn't do it anymore like that much. So it will be a huge problem because they have zero that can burst down their tanks.
Yeah, I believe, and that is going to be a big problem to deal with. I think so. It's about that DPS as well, right? Because when you've got the marksmen, you've got that consistent damage on those high HP targets, and you deal HP based damage as well if you pick up something like the carry and the claw or anything that actually makes up the demon hunter sword. And without that, it is problematic. A lovely Guardian's barrier. Tawadashi has got nowhere else to go. The knockup was picture perfect, and that is the unstoppable. Making a double kill as well. Leroy, big play coming in from her, but on the back line as well. The rough face catching absolutely no one. Nothing as Okun will tank everything without anything but a scratch.
Yeah, and that's again, it's a free load for the side of Force Gaming. There's no chance for Lovely Target to engage them or fight them. I think the best thing for them right now is to just stay into the turrets, which even this will be very hard for them to do because they have pretty much to dive. They have the Zuxin, they have the Grok, they have the burst damage, so it will be pretty hard even for Lovely Target just to defend the base. And that's something I need to say I don't see much chance for the side of Lovely Target in this game anymore. Because it's too much gold lead, it's 8k already, they have the gold lead, so it will be pretty hard even to defend the space.
Absolutely, I agree. It is going to be tough out there as we go with another rough waves into that back line. There's nothing that you can do to defend this tier 2. Yeah, maybe an Ugi Shadow Kill to try and clear the minions off, but Bebe on that Minotaur hasn't been able to give any kind of setup, so that's been the bit of a problem too. And I guess this is the presence of this Jushin. It still is tough. The inhib up top. Ugi Shadow Kill now being used up. You'd have to run back instantly, Mino and Fury, but only catching one. That is Lixie. It doesn't matter. The backline is out open. You got Asuna all the way stuck there. Zekus instantly takes one down. Lixie as well shut down too. There is nothing that they can do to defend. It's gonna be mid lane, broken out. Bottom inhib is the next target. Man, it is tough. Now with the endless battle as well, Leomord is gonna have even more burst damage. Foxy is gonna have her own fun time. Big ultimate out there being put up. The knockup coming in onto Okun, but it doesn't matter. She can heal herself back up. And on the other side, you've got 1 more minute for the Lord to show up. It is going to be tough.
But it will be pretty tough. We see a gold lead of 10k gold right now. We see the Zuxin, the use of the Zuxin. She's doing such a great job over here. Her positioning is much better than in the last game. The Tawadashi isn't even able to take her out that easily. Even if they have a glue, they have a Minotaur, they have pretty much actually to engage right now. But they are not able to take her down. Every inhibitor turret is down. It's only the base left. So one team wipe and it's over for you. So it will be pretty hard. And
yeah,
this could be a team fight that will end this game.
Highly possible. Tech charge in the backline as well. The Ugi Shadow Kill. All the damage has been divided. Split up perfectly as you get not just one but rather 2 picks out here. As it's a legendary for Leroy. Making the second one as Yuki couldn't do a thing. Minions up in mid. Barging onto the crystal as another Phantom Steed was used up just to take them off from the backline. A wave of minions which will be cleared but not before the Kadita herself falls. Just one trade coming in and with that the crystal goes off. Boar's Queen taking care of this game as easily as they won in that draft. Massive performance from Foxy, Lixie, Okun, Zekas, and Leroy. I did not even realize how well these people played. And through that draft, you could see everything that they did was picture perfect. The tech charges coming in. Okun on that Esmeralda was just always on top of them, easily driving away 2 to 3 people, zoning them out perfectly. And then you had the support coming in from Zekas. Even though there was, I'd have to say, Irithel in her hand, which requires a bit of scaling and everything. Even after all of that, she was able to just take control of her lane so quickly. Especially in a scenario where you have got the Vixana on the other side. It didn't have to do anything. It wasn't a big problem for her to deal with. She could easily kite around, and just like how you mentioned as well, synchro that Vixana can't really hit a moving target that easily until and unless you land that deadly grasp. And it's difficult to land the deadly grasp because you've got to predict where the Irithel is going to run. And she does all of that while attacking the minions. That is the biggest strength that she has. And also, I love the build. Windtalker into the Claw. Though I like the priority of the Claw with the Berserker's Fury, but Windtalker, Claw, 2 cheap items. You can build them up quickly. You get that extra bit of movement speed as well. And after all of that, you can simply just kite around everyone. And once you use the heavy crossbow, you can just burst down the entire backline so very quickly. This is the reason why I absolutely like Irithel, even though she was dropped off quite a bit, just because of how much time she requires in terms of that scaling and how easily she gets bursted down. Claude and Carry are a bit more priority here. But on the other end of the spectrum, I still like that pick. She can kite around really well.
So basically, first of all, huge congratulations to Boris. I really like the game. I really like the gameplay. He, they played very good. Don't get me wrong, they played very good. But I want to see them again playing against a proper draft. I want to see how they play against
Yep.
like a more meta draft. How good are they really? That's something I want to see right now. Because with this draft, we can't lie, their enemies didn't play it with like a draft you face often. It was like a draft which doesn't make like that much sense. I don't know if it's like their main draft or they really play it like this, which is completely fine. There's no front right now. But I want to see Boss Gaming playing against an upper draft. I want to see them playing against these tanky heroes, these skilled heroes like in Carry. I want to see them playing against Grok, Leomod, and not against heroes like Invexano on the gold lane, which we all may agree is maybe not the best pick. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward for the next games. I really think this was still a great game, and I'm really excited for the next game, especially the next best of 3. Um, but as I just mentioned, I want to
Mm-hmm.
see how strong they really are. And I think, especially in the next few days, we will definitely see this. I mean, it's just the start right now of this tournament. There are so many more teams who will face each other. And in the end, we will see the best teams. We will see the best female teams over here. And that's something I'm really excited because I never saw like female teams like in general. I never really see a female team in action, so that's something I'm really excited about. I really want to know how far they can come, how good they really are.
One thing that I also want to point out is the fact that, in this specific game, I think so. I'm going to give the credit to Leroy with on that Jushin instantly going in for the Sky Piercer. She was able to take control so very easily. And it is really easy to kite around against the Hayabusa when you're playing the Jushin. With the Flicker, with also the Crimson Beacon, you can instantly reposition, maybe dash away or cancel out the Yugi Shadow Kill entirely, given if you're able to bring that timing in place. So I think so. As much as it gave her more room, at least more than a Farsa to work with against Tawadashi, it also gave her the access on the back of that Sky Piercer to take control of the game and move it around in her way. And all of that was also provided to her by Lixie on the Grog. Those tech charges were perfect.
Yeah, but I think this is also like a huge mistake of leaving the Zuxin open. That's what we never saw her yesterday, and I think it would have been a very huge problem because we all know how strong a Zuxin can be, especially with the great or like the right team up on the row mid duo. It's something you don't want to mess with. You don't want to even play against it. I mean, Zuxin, she has everything. I mean, her damage is not the biggest damage, but she still has the damage, especially with her throw. She has the high damage output. She can poke these enemies down. She can throw them back into you when they try to run away. She can jump after them, deals complete damage, and that's something. She is a hero you don't want to mess with because she has the range. She has everything she needs as a mid laner, and that's why she's so strong. She's so dangerous on the mid lane, and I don't want to like put her up too high, but I think it's the only mid laner you don't want to mess with.
True, because once she gets farmed up, she gets scaled up onto that Sky Piercer, it becomes really difficult to catch her. And it's also the range, man. With the Lantern Flare, you just can keep on knocking up a lot of people. So that's one more thing which you've got to be worried about whenever you're playing that Jushin. On the other end of the spectrum, yeah, Zika's, you've always talked about her. I have talked about her. She's been pretty on point as well with the Irithel, not just with the fighter jungle. Now she's shown that she can also play not just the fighter gold lane, but also those conventional marksman gold lane. So a pretty solid pick onto that Irithel. Foxy on the jungle, again, with that Leo mod, was on point, knew what she needed to build. I believe in the previous one, she went in with the brute force breastplate, or maybe it was in this one, but I like the idea. You know that you're going to be crowd controlled. You know that you could potentially end up being that front line of the team. So you'd rather want to have those stacks up, extra bit of mobility, just so it becomes difficult for the other side to catch you, while also reducing the amount of time you're going to be controlled by them. So all of that combined, it was really nice adaptation by Foxy. She also did a pretty good part with that Leo mod.
I completely agree with you. Leo mod, there was a reason why everyone picked it yesterday as well. There is a reason why it's right now one of the strongest junglers. And we can't lie, he has such fast rotation, he has such a great damage. So we see the reason to pick him, and we just saw it again in the last two games. We saw the opportunity to engage, to jungle div with the Leo mod, and to just engage on the enemies, taking out the kills, coming back alive, and that's something you just need to get. I mean, the Hayabusa, okay, he went in, get a kill, and died most of the times. But the Leo mod, he goes in, takes a kill, comes out. Maybe more, maybe tries to just poke these enemies down. So I really agree with you that the Leo mod right now is also a hero you actually don't want to face it. But that's like the point. In good drafts, Leo mod isn't like the most previous or like the most prioritized ban. So there are many more heroes open you need to ban. So in my opinion, right now there are too many heroes that you should actually could have been able to ban. But too many heroes, you don't have enough bans to ban all these heroes. So you need to leave some of these heroes open. So you need to leave a few open that are too overpowered, too good right now. And that's heroes we just saw. We saw the Leo mod, we saw Grok, we saw the Zuxin. These are all heroes you can actually prioritize as banning. But I really hope, especially against in the next game between Wars Esports and Helicopters, we will see some better drafts, maybe some better matchups between both teams, some team plays like more on the same level. I really looking forward for it, and yeah,
I agree. And on the back of it, I'll be honest, I think so. I also want to see what's going to happen in the next one because again, we've got a lineup under the name of Boars. This time it's going to be esports. While helicopters, we've got an entirely different lineup of Rina, Shue, Lilith, Eva, and Ayu. For Boars esports, we've got Tori, Sona, Illuvia, Celia, Feet, Neymar, and Fumetsu. I hope it is Illuvia or maybe Luvia. We'll have to. I'll have to get the confirmation on that one. But on the other side of the spectrum, again, we'll have a look at the lineup as well. Just as I said, Boars Esports, Tori, Luvia. Alright, so that's Luvia, Celia, Sona, and Fumetsu.
yeah. I don't know what you think about this team. I think they're looking like they want to win this game. I think they're really looking forward to win this game and take home the title as the winner of the tournament.
Lineup looks pretty solid again. On paper, it's pretty nice. While on the other side, if you look at the helicopters, you've got Shuei, Ayu, Eva, Rina, and Lilith. Again want to see how these players are going to play up against, right? Because I'll be honest, with all the European ML that I have been watching, my bar is set up pretty high, all thanks to Chloe. You know that she
Yeah,
used to
that's
play that goal lane, right? You remember?
yeah, that's something I just wanted to mention. That's maybe why my expectations for the drafts in the last game weren't like, okay, these are unusual ones, but maybe they're not playing like. I mean, there are teams we never saw before. There are players we never saw before. So it's maybe just not. It's maybe because we take our own bar too high because we see so many good teams, we see so many good plays. But I'm really looking
Yep.
forward to see these plays, to see such gameplay in this tournament as well. I'm really looking forward, and I really think that the female teams can also do it like this, and that's something I really want to see over here.
Yeah, because
But now it's the
let's be
question.
honest, Europe has shown players like Gracie who have been on top in the lineup of Memento Mori, getting second in one of the biggest European tournament as well. So the females have shown up big time, and that's why my expectation is going to be pretty high. And yeah, Synchro, you were about to say something.
Especially as you just mentioned, Tracy. You're completely right. Especially one thing from Dracy is explicitly in my mind, and that was a Savage with the Granger, which was so
Oh yeah.
grateful good. I rarely see such great Savage gameplays on a tournament, especially with a Granger, and that's something Gracie did very good. So I'm really looking forward to see such talents in this tournament as well.
Bar is set up pretty high for both Celia as well as Lilith onto those gold lanes, and not just them, the rest of the players, the rest of the 8 players in this lobby too. As ladies and gentlemen, we move into draft. Boards Esports on the blue, helicopters on the red. With again, I think so. With the bans, if we are really talking about that, it might go all the way back to the same thing. Maybe they've got to read onto their opponent what they might want to pick. So we might potentially see some target bans as well, like we were seeing previously against Bebe. The 2 bans of the supports, Angela as well as the Florin. It is possible we might see something similar in this draft too.
That's true. It might be possible, but I really hope we're seeing here more like meta drafts, more like meta buns, as we just mentioned before the first game even started. Heroes we want to see, like band, like Sora, like Fredrin, like these heroes, like the real strong heroes. These are like heroes I want to see here. I want to see them playing these big, strong meta heroes right now. That's something I would really like to see over here. But yes, you mentioned it completely right. We set the bar for ourselves pretty high, especially after gameplay from people like Dracy, who did such great job. I mean, she was able to set the bar so high in one of the biggest tournaments in Europe. She was able to completely dominating her own gold lane. And that's something I think she was the
Exactly.
only girl I saw in this tournament, and still she was able to completely dominate there. And that's something I want to see here. I want to see these talents who are able to compete against the best teams in Europe, even if these are man teams. I want to see these teams right now. I want to see them competing against them, winning against them, and showing their best. All of them are here right now to show their best, to show the potential they got. So I'm really looking forward for the next games.
Exactly. As we get ready for the drafting phase itself, ladies and gentlemen, and we do appreciate your patience. And let's give a huge shout out to ESEL as well, right? They've been managing this entire thing themselves, and I think so. It's again their own early few events too, some of the grassroots events. So it's a pretty nice thing that they're bringing all of us together as a community, bringing a female tournament out just to give a lot of exposure to the people. So a huge shout out to ESEL for making this possible. Now, coming back onto this one, another best of 3. We saw the previous one, ended up in a 2-0, so I know Synchro is pretty sad about that. He wanted to see all 3 games. Hopefully this time we might potentially see that happen. Boars Esports, Helicopters, this is the second lineup of Boars today. I know we've been talking about that a lot, trust me. But here's the thing, it's not pretty common for us to see three lineups out of all that we have who've got the same name or the same initial at least, just the second part being changed, one being gaming, second being esports. So that's something unique, something new, which to be honest I kind of like as well. So that's certainly a thing which I'd be having my eyes out for. Just like how I have my eyes out for this specific draft, right? What are your first few predictions of the bands?
The thing is, after the last game, I actually don't know. Because it's hard to say. Because for me, my prediction, mostly predictions for the first bands are heroes like Zuxin, Zora, Valentina, or maybe a Grok, Carry. These are like mostly my predictions for the first bands because these are right now like the most proper heroes you ban or play. When they open, you pick them. These are heroes you don't want to face against. Same for the Freya. But after the picks and bans we saw in the last game, I don't know if it was just the one team, but the bans from both sides were like a bit unusual to what we're seeing in the previous games and in the last tournaments.
True.
So it's really hard to predict the bans over here. If I really going for predict the bans, like if I just based on the last two games, I think we're going to see some support bans as well again.
Highly possible, right? Because we know that sometimes the rumors are targeted like that. Maybe banning out those Florins, maybe banning out those Angelas. That could be something which could create a ton of problems too. On the other side, this time around, things are different. It's a Yu Jong banned out first by Boars Esports. So, targeting that EXP lane, prioritizing that, and an instant retaliation in the form of that Jushin. I like where this is going. The first two bans are pretty good.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. This game looks much more like my taste, actually. Immediately from the start, they banned Yuzong, they banned Valentina, they banned Zuxin, they banned Freya. So already four heroes we just mentioned were banned out. So Sora is still open, the carry is still open, Grok is
Mm-hmm.
still open, Leomord is also still open. So what are the heroes they going to pick in the first pick phase, you know? And what are the next bans they will do? Because there are still pretty many very good heroes open. Okay, there's a true ban. For me, in my opinion, also an unusual ban, but not a bad ban. Because we see many people roaming on true, like in the last previous games. We see it many times. So it's not a bad ban, in my opinion. Especially maybe Boris
But
Esports is playing a true roam or
hmm,
like tried or wanted to go for a true roam. So, yeah.
I like the idea of the
it's
show as well, but I think the Kalia or a Grok would have been a better ban here. That's the only thing. And we talk about the Grok, he's been picked up, prioritized early on by Sona. You don't have a Freya as well, which you've already banned out previously, so I think so the priority should go for the Yi Sunshine in the jungle, or maybe you pick up the Leo mod to have that extra bit of dive potential. But we talk about dive and they lock in the Alice.
okay. Differ- I really like what I'm seeing right now. This game is much more promising than in the last game, actually. We see the Grog first pick. We see Alice and Carry right now. We see very good bands, actually. I'm I'm very looking forward to see this game, to be honest.
Leo mod along with the Grok, that's a nice pick. I think so. It adds in a bit more. They're just doubling down onto that dive. The lock in the CC too. A good flexibility could play in both EXP as well as the gold. Can also prioritize, that gold lane more technically because of the amount of poking that you have with the yo-yo blades. So I like where this is going. I think so. Helicopters should potentially lock in their roamer at this point. Hmm. Thinking about it, maybe a Kalia would not be a bad option here.
Hard to say. It's hard to say, actually. I I don't know. There is no match picked yet, but we see Leomord, CC, and Grok. They definitely going for the dive again. They want to go in, full in. They just want to dive them completely out. They don't want the enemy to even be able to come back if they try to engage on them. And that's something they can easily do with the CC,
True.
Leomord, and Grok. From the side of helicopters, we see the Alice. We see Carry, we see the Minotaur. Minotaur is very good. He has protection, he has the heal. Carry has the complete burst damage. She can, especially in the late game, if she get a bad fed, she can easily burst down all of them. And same for the Alice. She's so tanky. And right now, we see also the CC is good pick against Alice, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But for the team fight, it's Alice is a very strong hero, especially if we're watching for the stun and the engagement. The side of helicopters have right now, they have the Alice, they have the Minotaur, which is very great. They have very much crowd control. They have very much CC,
yeah.
very much engagement, very much tankiness. So it will be pretty hard to just take out the carry. So they need a proper mage who maybe can dive this carry and only go for this carry.
We'll just have to wait and see at this point, man, for that because again, let's be brutally honest. Even if you're going for a full dive, there is that Minotaur up in front of you. So he will potentially protect that carry out. It falls down onto that mage. Farsa being banned out is a pretty good ban there, considering you don't have that range. I think so. The next target should be an Eve. But here's the thing: if an Eve is being picked up, then the Alice will have an easy target for the other side. So I think so. It's better to ban out a Lunox here. If you dive in with the Lunox with the Brilliance along with the Darkening combination, things are looking pretty tough. I don't see any other way for Carry to run back to safety. So maybe a Lunox ban here would be a good one.
I don't know. For sure, Lunox wouldn't be like a ban or pick. But I think Lunox will have the problem. If Helicopters plays good, this Minotaur, especially in the late game, he will protect the carry with his life. And then Lunox has not that much chance to burst her down when this Minotaur is staying with her. He can heal her up, he can stun her immediately, so it will be pretty hard to just poke her down, you know? But we're seeing also the Cloud ban. We're seeing the Father ban. Two bans I really like. I don't know, Boss Esports seems like they're playing no ban season or no ban tournament, but they already missed the second ban. So let's see if they even ban another hero or leave everything open, but seems like it right now. Okay, they banned the Fredrin. Fredrin
Hmm.
is a good ban, I guess. I don't know if it fits that
I,
well in the team combination of helicopters right now, but it
it
could have
kind of
been
can, to
like
be
a very
honest.
good pick. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
50-50 thing, I guess.
it
But we
depends,
see
right?
it if
Because you may want to add in an extra protection line for the carry just to make sure that she doesn't get doped upon as very hard, or at least there's a little bit more room for carry to work with after that taunt coming in from Fredrin.
that's true. Fredrin, I mean, he has the protection and everything, but I think actually it would have been a good pick over here, but it's still something in me tells me it wouldn't have been the pick. But we see Kimmy, Eve, both are good picks actually. I like both, but I think on the pure matchup on the mid lane, just the mid laners without the roamers, I think Eve has a bit advantage of the range because she can easily freeze her, she can easily poke her down. But with the Grok,
Hmm.
it seems a bit otherwise because Kimmy and Grok together is deadly. If Grok places his wall good, there is no way for Eve to came out just to use his flicker out to get out. And the Minotaur, I don't know
Yeah.
how good he can protect in front of a Kimmy, especially because she can shoot through both of them. So it's hard. But I really need to say I like both these teams draft better than the last games.
Surodai with Fanny and Alice, and then you've got a front to back with the Minotaur, Eve, as well as the carry. That is the idea of helicopters. While Boars Esports, triple dive and a ton of kite. I like both of these drafts, as you rightfully mentioned, but I think so. I'm leaning in a little bit more towards Boars Esports here, just because of the amount of kiting that they have. It's going to be a lot of responsibilities on the shoulders of RU to maybe shut down the skimmy early on and not let that snowball begin. What are your thoughts, Synchro, before we move into the land of dawn?
It's pretty tough right now actually. But I guess because of the carry and the Eve and the engagement skills of helicopters with the heroes, I think I go with helicopters in this game.
Highly possible for this one that maybe it's going to be the helicopters to take that win, ladies and gentlemen, or maybe it could be Bo's Esports with the wave freeze coming in from Grog to try and take that early advantage thanks to Tori on that Kimmy. We'll find that out in the next 15 minutes in this Land of Dawn for the first time in the second best of 3 series.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it will be like a 30-minute game.
You had to say that.
I had to. Because I really hope so. Because I really like casting with you. I really like staying here with you. So I want to take it as long as possible, actually. And I really
That's
think
one part of it, but
there's nothing
30-minute game.
there's nothing more interesting than like 20, 30, 40-minute games. Because there you can see how good these teams are, how hard it will be to fight for this title, you know, to come into the next round.
Think about your throat a bit for how long you'd be speaking. Rina? Holy smokes, even burnt out that flicker as well. Surviving with the skin of a thief there, and this is exactly that you mentioned in the draft. One good Guardian's barrier, and the flicker is off for Rina.
You had to mention that with my throat, right? Oh man, I really like the draft. But right now, I feel like Boss Esports is controlling the map a bit more. I think they are controlling more of the map right now. They're doing it much better with the vision. They are in the enemy jungler. They have vision on almost every enemy right now, and that's pretty good. They know they can go for the turtle. There's Esmeralda is doing it pretty good, zoning out the Fanny, knowing she will come there. Fanny without a blue buff, and that's a huge problem right now. Because many people starting with the blue buff in the early game, because it's easier for them to play afterwards. But for people who don't know, if you start with the red buff, go afterwards to the blue buff, you definitely have your blue buff still up for the turtle.
Exactly, and now with that one fight, they're trying to hop in for the engage as well as the first blood goes, and thanks to Esmeralda, all 5 players working together, and that is the purple buff stolen away as well. Ayu and Shue not having the best time there in this one. And this is something which I also wanted to point out, that EXP lane matchup is going to be the key, considering Eva on the Alice will not be able to rotate as fast as Luvia on the Esmeralda. And now 4 of them ganking down in the bot lane. They know that Lilith could be a problem, so they force her away from her cannon minion. Unscaling carry is even more problematic now. Tori's gonna survive by the skin of her teeth. Uses up the flicker as well. No more energy left for IU as the steel cable did not connect on the wall. And she gets bursted down.
I respected that flicker of the Kimmy, not gonna lie. I really respected it. But I think the best chance for Boss Esports is to finish the game as fast as possible. Because in the late game, they have a very tanky Alice, they have a very tanky Minotaur, they have a carry who can shred everyone of Boss Gaming, Boss Esports, my bad. They can burst anyone of this team down. Same for the Eve, deals such an amount of damage. So I think, in my opinion, Boss Esports needs to take down the game as fast as possible.
That's exactly what they're doing as well. Instead of bursting down Eva too, down with that bottom lane, that is another problematic stuff happening up there. On top though, with the speedy light wheel, Luvia gets destroyed by carry as well as Ayu onto that Fanny. She will not have her purple again. It's going to be invaded on the other side, and this is the problem with the Fanny. Whenever you pick her up, you know that purple is going to be contested unless you've got a good amount of early burst with the disengage, and let's be honest, they do not have that for now. For Esports on the other side of the spectrum.
It doesn't look good right now for helicopters, actually. It really doesn't look good for them right now.
Out in the trouble, Lilith. Busted down as well.
After just 5 minutes, they already have 4k gold lead. They have turret lead. Look how fast they're bursting down these enemies. How fast their rotation is. How fast they rotate from lane to lane. How fast they're taking the turrets. How fast they're going for the objectives. They're doing it so much better on the micro and macro right now as Helicopters is doing it. And that's such a good play, to be honest.
Exactly, and that is a bit more tough for them to deal with. Boars Esports, as you rightfully mentioned, they look a lot more clean around that line of ground. And even though Ayu onto that Fanny is doing a fantastic job, even after that, as the team themselves, just because of the draft that they've gone with, two of the side laners who require a lot of scaling, that is where the problem is. The first purple buff was invaded, or rather, let's just say the second purple buff was invaded, and after that, Ayu hasn't really had any time. She's gonna be bursted down again. Tori has just got too much more damage. Shue was there trying to survive, but cannot tank anything. And that is just Fumetsu on the Leo mod, along with Luvia onto the Esmeralda. I wasn't expecting this to happen to, but man, they're winning all the fights on all the fronts.
I don't want to be too overconfident, but I think the first game is already over. Because I don't think that Helicopters is able to come back into this game.
Oh my god. Massive tech charge. Rena gets taken down. And now they're going to target the tier 2 down bot. Synchro, talk to me about these first few items.
I couldn't saw much, to be honest. I was looking more for the gold difference right now, which was pretty high. Everyone was like 1 to 2k gold lead ahead, which is actually a huge amount of gold. We see almost 8k gold lead, and it will be very hard. It will be very, very hard for Helicopters to come back into this game, especially as we just mentioned. Right now they are too tanky. Carry doesn't have the farm she should have, or she needs to have. Same for the Eve. So they can't have the use they actually do in the late game. So that's what I was mentioning. If Boss Esports is able to finish the game as fast as possible, there is no chance for Helicopters to come back into the game. But if Helicopter is able to defend till lack of time, getting the items, getting farmed, I think that especially through the Eve and the carry, that Helicopters is able to come back into the game. But it will be a hard way to get there, actually.
Yeah, right now that is a big Minoan Fury coming in, knocking up a few people, but Shue will not be able to tank anything. Eva also has to run back onto that Alice, back to her base, because she can't tank that burst. I want to have a look at the items that Tori has built up already, and I'm pretty sure we'd see that golden wand along with the Sky Piercer. Ayu 0-4
sure.
run onto that Fanny. Not having
But
a good game.
But what we saw in the mid lane right now, that's exactly what I mentioned. There was a Minotaur ultimate, there was the Eve ultimate, and there was a carry. But they wasn't even able to kill down one. And they got all stunned by Eve ultimate, they got all poked by a Minotaur ultimate, and carry also hit it into it. And they wasn't even able to get one out. So how should they do it in a teamfight with the Lord? I really don't see that coming. I really don't see that they be able to defend this, to be honest.
Especially with the bottom Holy Shield taken out, yeah, that's tough. Make it 2 as well, though. The mid Holy Shield has been taken down as well as the Lord marches down bot. You've got Ayu there, up in the jungle. Maybe she's going to try and slow the Lord down, though, but Fumetsu, she's also there ready to maybe answer back there. Yes, Synchro.
The problem is it's already a gold lead of 11k. They got every tower protection, and actually it's a good thing that the Lord is still staying on the bot side, because right now they are spawning more minion waves and more minion waves with the huge Lord minions, which is pretty good for the side of Boars. Which is, I mean, they have now the possibility to get definitely 1 or 2 of the inhibitor turrets if they're playing it good. And we saw from the previous engages, they did it every time pretty good. So I really think that this will be also good engage. And if we see, Fanny is not even dealing damage. She's dealing 0 damage. But we're seeing now the Lord marching on the bot side. I really want to see how they're engaging on the turret, if they even try to engage on it.
Yeah, they will. The traction pulse into the back. Yeah, traction pulse in the back line, already pushing 2 people away there. While they're all taking that fight, man, Eva just gets taken out instantly. You also had Rena flickering out of there. The crystal's all open. This just one lord was enough for them to shut down the entire game. Man, that is massive. Boars Esports taking that game number one, not in style, but so quickly.
I just told you, this team looks like they want to come for everything in this tournament. They want to come for the first place. And that's what they showed us right now in this game. They played it so well. They did such a great job. They took out everything they could. They had much better teamwork. They had, I don't know if they have more experience or just know how to play better, but they definitely had the better micro, the better macro. I didn't thought about the draft that they will win this easily, but they completely destroyed them in this game. I felt like helicopters didn't
True.
even have the chance to compete against them. They didn't have the chance to defend anything over there. And that's something I really liked about Boris Esports right now because they made such a great job. They played it so well. Congrats to the winning team right now. We will hop into the second game, and I really want to hope for Helicopter that they want to we're going to wake up right now and show us now what they can do for what they are here. Because I really want to see the effort they put into this. I mean, you won't come for a tournament to intend to lose. You come to a tournament and intend to win. And that's what I want to see here.
Yep.
I want to see helicopters coming back, staying up, and show Boss Esports why they are here.
At this point, I think so. They need to find a way to shut down Tory in that mid lane. Like that's the only thing that they need to prioritize. That's one way for helicopters to make that comeback in the series. You've got to try and take care of Tori. She on that Kimi was impeccable, and then you also had Celia playing in that goal lane on that CC. One of the easiest times out if you think about it, especially against Lilith, right? And I think so. This is one of the big things. Even though there was the carry on the other side in her hand, the CC just outpokes her, out rotates the carry, and is just a lot more mobile on the map. So she provides a lot more advantage in those team fights during those neutral objectives, and that's exactly what Fumetsu was able to secure on that Leo mod. No problems whatsoever. Instantly going in for those invades against IU's Fanny too. I believe she only got one purple buff in the entire game. And that is a big problem when you're running with a Fanny composition. So yeah, I think so. A few tweaks in the draft is probably what helicopters need.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially what you just mentioned with the blue buff for the Fanny. Fanny is sadly an assassin who needs a blue buff to be useful. I mean, I see a few people who also can play without a blue buff, but it's, I would say, 1 out of 10,000 or something like this. Because this is like a skill with Fanny you need to master. You master it for months, for years to play like a god with Fanny. And that's something, if you're not that good, you are used. You need this blue buff. And if your enemy team is invading you like this, won't give you the space to get the blue buff, you have a huge problem, especially on the jungler, because you're a bit of useless then without the blue buff.
I'll be honest, even without all of that, she was kind of doing pretty decent job there, right? And I think so that is one thing which you've got to keep in mind that even without the blue buff, there were multiple moments when IU almost got that pick in on Tori. And there was one time in the bottom lane too where you said that you did respect Tori flickering out of there. Otherwise, IU would have taken her down with the steel cable as well as with the cutthroat. So I think so. Even without that buff, she was able to do something. It's just unfortunate that she was not able to collect those kills. Otherwise, she would have had the farm, and maybe things would have gone in differently. But yeah, I think so. A lot of it came down to that draft and how you wanted to play around in that mid lane. And Kimmy Grok combination is just a little bit too tough to deal with.
Grok Kimi is a very huge combination on the mid lane. I think Grok is doing a very good job, and especially through the Grok, while they play against Minotaur and Eve, Minotaur and Eve wasn't able to do that much, especially of the team play they did as a team. It's not just about the Roman mid, it was about the whole team. I think the whole team played just much better in the team. They had such better rotation, they played such more better about the objectives. So I think it was really about the whole team that they won that easily against helicopters.
I agree. The entire team doing their own part, doing their own thing. That's what really mattered in that entire game. At the same time, having a one look at the rosters again, ladies and gentlemen, for both of these teams, so you do not miss out. For both esports, you've got Fumetsu the Creator, Tori, Xona, Luvia, Celia. For helicopters, you've got Rina, Shuei, Lilith, Eva, as well as Ayu. All of these divas out here fighting for the top slot, for the top position. We hop into the draft of game number 2. This could potentially be the last game for this evening if, in case, Boards Esports close it down 2-0. If Helicopters win this one, then we will be pushed onto the game number 3, which I'm pretty sure would be really adored by Synchro because he doesn't like duos. He likes the best of 3 to go all the way.
That's completely true. I prefer it. I mean, we are here to see people showing themselves because they want to show themselves in a tournament. They want to attend to play as
Yep.
the best team in this tournament. So I prefer if people have free games to show themselves
Mm-hmm.
because even if you lose, it doesn't mean that you're playing bad or lost because you're bad. It's maybe just because of the draft, maybe because you just got out rotated, which can happen to every team.
Probably.
Even the best team got out drafted, got out rotated by some teams. It's something that happens, but that's the reason why I like to have 3 games instead of just 2, because there every team has 3 times to show what they got, to show why they're here, to show their chance and everything. That's why I really love it, and I really hope we're gonna see it. We're seeing again the Chuban, the Zukshin ban, as we just mentioned before, Chu isn't a bad ban. If enemies intend to play Chu on Rome, it's completely fine. You can ban it. Same for the Zuxin ban.
Hmm.
But
One of the big things
I
again,
really want to know.
Shu. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You
Thank
first.
you. I really want to know how the draft will change after the first game now. Is Helicopters going for some bans, maybe like the Leo mod? Could be possible. Maybe like the Grog, because these were heroes that made huge problems actually. So I'm really looking forward to how the draft will change. Maybe it won't even change a bit. Maybe it will be the same draft with another outcome. Who knows? But yeah, you can go.
I think so. They should change the draft a bit, like banning out either the Leo or the Grok. Either of them would be a pretty nice ban, considering the Grok was giving so much problems to your Eve. You always had to burn down the Flicker to try and survive through the Guardian's barrier. Plus the Leo mod as well, just hopping in without any problems. There was no one to stop him down or maybe lock him down. Yes, you picked up the Minotaur, but he was just so under fat that she couldn't technically do anything with that pick. So I think so.
Yeah, but that's
Having a little bit more room for Shuei to work with should be the way to go.
something, especially after you mentioned the Eve. We just said before that Boss Esports is having a team for diving into the enemies. They had this CC, they had Grok, they had the Leo mods, 3 heroes who are very good to dive in. And in Eve, I think that's the biggest problem for Eve because you have no escape skills. The only thing you can escape
Hmm.
with is actually the flicker. If you use it up, there is no chance for you to survive and come out. So actually, it was very good
Yeah.
from the side of Boss to play such a dive skill or dive combination because Eve had any chance to survive in this game.
And that is one of the big reasons why we were not able to see Rina do her own thing. Just because she was too focused on surviving in that game, because there was no one. Let's be honest, one Minotaur cannot really protect you from such a heavy dive, and that too when there's so many good Guardians barrier coming in from Sona. So I agree. You should potentially respect that Grok and maybe ban him out, though I don't understand this Kaja. I think so. It is way too early in the draft to ban a Kaja out here. It's probably a comfort ban, maybe. That's all I can see.
I I can't agree completely with you. I mean, I can understand it like 50-50. Maybe it is a bit too early for Kaja, but Kaja is, as I see in many games right now, in many tournaments, Kaja is one of the most prioritized roams because he's actually a very easy roam to play. He's not like skill based like a Grok, how you use the flicker. Same thing for a Tigreal, how you use the flicker, or with an Hylos, when do you use your ultimate? With a Kaja, you just use your flicker and ultimate, and that's it. because the enemy can't do anything against it. So I really think that Kaja is like a very easily playable hero, which makes him also right now a very strong roam. Because we just mentioned it, there are pretty many heroes right now, like good mid laners, good gold laners, and Kaja is a hero, he
True.
can easily take them out.
I agree, and it's also pretty solid anti-dive if you think about it, right? We always talk about if enemy has got a good dive, you just pick up something that can cancel out that dive, pick up an anti-dive, and that should be it. Kaja kind of does that too, just to make sure with that divine judgment he locks down one, while the rest of the members of your team can eventually take down that person and maybe set up something for the next few. But I still feel he kind of gets heavily countered by Agato Kacha, right? He goes in with the divine judgment. Now you know that the team is going to collapse onto that one captured person, and that's where you go in with the AOG of Kato or maybe anything else, like something that can give in a huge AOE, maybe even an alert in the EXP lane is something that can counter that Kaja pretty decently. So yeah, that's the only reason why I feel that they shouldn't have used a ban onto that bird, but it is still understandable.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's still many heroes open that can counter a Kaja or like very good against a Kaja. So as I said, I agree like 50-50 with you because there is the reason why you should ban him, but there's also a reason how you can outplay him, how why he's not like that good first ban. But we see also the Juzong ban. I think we don't need to talk about it. And right now we see the respect ban of the Leo mod, and we see Freya's open, which helicopters will take immediately. And this could maybe change the game around because Freya, we all know how strong she can be, especially if your team is playing well with her. So I'm really looking forward to see what Fanny's Freya is able to do here and how they want to use it. How good is she with the Freya? How good is she with rotating? How good is she with using her skills? So that's something I'm really looking forward to see right now.
Yeah, so that was a Kadita ban. All right, and now they've got to go in for a Kaja pick, along with the Louis. So kind of a pick off, not entirely a pick off, but you get the idea with the dispersion rotation play. You can potentially get something done once you capture someone from the divine judgment. So I do understand the idea. On the other side, you've got the Esmeralda, you've got the Grog, you've got the Hayabusa, triple dive. So things will be looking difficult for Rina again.
Yeah, we see Esmeralda against Freya. It's very good to pick Esmeralda against a Freya. I mean, it's not unplayable, but it will be pretty hard for Freya. We see the Hayabusa as well. I mean, Kaja is very good against the Hayabusa because you can lock him down pretty easily. But at the same time, the Hayabusa will take out the Louis very easily. Grok, I don't think we need to talk about this pick. We all know how strong Grok can be in the right hands,
Yeah.
what kind of engagement he can do, what kind of saves, what kind of engage. We don't need to talk about the zero. But we're seeing again the Fredrin pick, the
True.
Fredrin ban. Something I like, I would say actually against. It's again a 50-50 thing, I guess. Because I don't know what you want to do against Grog or Esmeralda, but we're still missing some heroes like the gold lane and the mid lane. So they're banning out the Kimi from the side of helicopters, which I completely agree with. Kimi is a very strong mid lane if you playing good with her and especially with the right matchup.
I think so. Against a Louis, she works pretty well too. So yeah, I do like it. But at the same time, I also feel that there's a Farsa which you might want to consider banning out. Yes, you do have the Freya who can hop in, but a Farsa technically outranges the Kaja as well as the Louis, so that could be something which could be used up by those esports. If not that, maybe even the Eve. So both of them are pretty solid on that ban. So you can go for either one of them. That would make sense. At the same time, on the other side, you banned out the Fredrin, maybe ban with the Baxia as well. You would not want to deal with that tortoise with a shield just to try and hamper the Esmeralda, even the Hayabusa. and maybe cause problems for your own mage and marksman later in the game itself. So maybe doubling down on that time jungle ban should be the way to go for Boars esports.
It's hard. I think there are a few good options actually on the mid lane. We have Zetian, who, especially with her pushing back with her passive, is pretty good against the Freya and the Kaja at the same time. We have Faza, who deals very good damage with the stun, with the poke, also with the bird. She can easily come out of many dangerous
True.
situations. But at the same time, there's also Lunox. I mean, Lunox just need to be careful of the Kaja, but with the Flicker
Hmm.
engage, she can also easily burst down the Freya. She can burst down the Louis. So I think there's still quite a lot options open for the mid lane pick.
I do like the Zatian call which you just made, right? Because that's a straightforward counter to Kaja. If anything, he wants to hop in, you could be around that place and he'll be pushed back instantly. And I like this ban of Yistun Shin too, making sure that there's no one who can scale up that well against the Hayabusa in that jungle. Forcing helicopters on something else, look in some different direction, maybe again the Baxia, or maybe lock in that Lancelot a little bit to have that extra bit of dashes to work around with. But again, if you're going for the Lancelot, you'd rather need to build up an endless battle to get that extra bit of true damage to burst down those tanky heroes. Otherwise, things will be looking difficult. Talk to me about the CC ban though in the gold lane.
The CC band, it's this. It would be the same thing actually, like in the last game. Um, a CC, we see they have the Grok, they have the Esmeralda. If they're going for the CC right now as well, especially with the ultimate, it can make huge problems for the Freya because he can stack Freya together with someone, and that makes Freya a bit of useless actually. So I really like the CC ban over here because they're taking out one big problem for Freya, which they already have with the Grok, because Grok also very strong against the Freya. So
True.
I know what they're thinking about banning the CC, especially also with the diving skill and the damage. So I think that's like the most point why banning CC is worth in this game. It's basically just because of the Freya, because it can be very dangerous to her.
One thing that I kind of want to focus on is definitely going to be maybe a potential 4v pick in the EXP lane and put this Esmeralda in the gold lane for Boar Esports. If helicopters decide to go for one more dash, maybe the I don't think so a Harith or anything like that is a good option. Even if there's a Lapu Lapu on the side of helicopters, I think so a 4v should be a good shout. They do need their jungler too. So I think so Lancelot might be a good option here. Even if you want to lock in the Fanny again, maybe go ahead with the Fanny too, ladies and gentlemen. We're hopping into the game itself pretty quickly. We've been going in with the predictions here. We've got Carry for the gold lane. We've got Glue for that EXP. While on the other side, Esselia picks up the Bruno. A bit of a surprise though, but with the Farsa, with the Bruno, they have the range. With Luvia, Sona, they have the die for Metsu for cleanup. Lilith should stand in the back, wait for the front line to save her life along with Kaja as well as Glue, while Ayu dives in the back with Eva to try and shut them down as Rina stands in ground and makes sure she goes in for the dispersion plays. Out here, it's helicopters taking on Boars Esports, and that is the first blood down in the bottom lane in a 2v1.
Oh man, I really like the father pick. And also the Bruno pick, actually. I mean, we couldn't talk about it because we didn't saw it yet because it was a bit skipped. But for the side of helicopters, we also got the glue and we got the carry, which is also pretty good in my opinion. Um, we got the first two kills already done for the side of Boris Esports. 1k gold lead at the first minute, which is huge, which is pretty good after 1 minute. And we see they're winning the mid lane as well right now. It's almost the mid lane kill. The Louis didn't use the flicker, which is very good because they will have it now for the next engages. But still, it's the same thing like in the last game. Boss Esports is using the map controls so good The XP laner gives so much vision in the enemy jungler, and that's very good. That's actually pretty insane. I really need to give a shout out to this because they know all the time where the enemy jungler is, where the enemy roamer is, and that's very great idea. We see the Freya on the jungle. She don't have Purify.
Yeah,
She doesn't
right
have the
now.
flicker or anything. So I really think it will be actually a very hard game for Freya, to be honest. Because when
I
we go for
agree.
the side of
The
Force Esports,
the Freya with the retribution
continue,
just seems
continue.
a bit more weird. I agree. And I believe she was able to take the turtle for now. Maybe no, she was not able to. It was still stolen away by Fumitsu, the creator, on the other side. So it is tough for her to deal with all of that's happening here. The mid lane is also not getting prioritized because the rotation with the Grok and the Farsa, it's going to be fast. Helicopters are already starting with a little bit of a handicap in this game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But I really
Wow.
need to say we're seeing the same thing like in the last game. The rotation and the movement from the side of Boys Esports is again much better. They're rotating much faster, focusing better on the objectives. They are not even scared that much of their enemies. So I really think I really hope for helicopters that they're going to wake up and have some strategy how to play against Boss Esports. Because right now it looks again definitely for the side of Boss Esports. It's a gold lead of 2K again. They poke down the enemies so fast, they rotate so fast, and that's what makes me a bit scared of the outcome of the game again. Because if we see the father right now who's bursting down this Louis as well so fast, it will be hard to come back into this game, in my opinion. What's your opinion about it?
This is what I said during the draft phase itself, right? If there's a Louis on one side, you lock in the Farsa, and now you've got the priority, at least in the mid lane, you can easily outrange the Louis. And that is what's happening. And I agree with you, if the snowball continues like that, this game could be over in around 12-minute mark as well, with the gank happening up in top. You've already shut down Lilith on the carry, so she's not gonna have a fun time building towards that Trinity, and is also getting delayed against the Bruno. 2,900 gold already with a Hearth Claw in. They're also going in for the turtle as well to try and go for the chase. Oh, big tech charge coming in, knocking three people. And Tori is able to steal over the turtle as well, with Luvia shutting down IU on the Freya. Make it another big pick as the mid tier 1 is also being taken down. Boars Esports with a commanding lead of 5,000 gold in less than 5 minutes.
It's hard. They already got, after 5 minutes, they got the mid turret, which is the most important turret, as we already mentioned yesterday. The mid turret, if this turret falls, they got almost the whole map, especially the enemy jungle open, which is right now a huge advantage for the side of Force Esports. They got the top turret as well. They're getting the bot turret probably as soon as possible. They're having now a gold lead of 5k already after 5 minutes, and that's insane. But we're seeing a very good engage.
Yeah, right now they want to catch down Grog. Sona a bit too ahead, a little bit over aggressive there. Instantly being shut down though. There is Shoei who will be hopping back in the fight. While that happens, Luvia is able to take care of two. One of them is Eva on that glue, and I don't know what else to say at this point. Diversion play coming in, trying to save the life of their teammate. Luvia out in front of three people, but they just don't have enough damage or any lockdown to try and contain this Esmeralda.
Yeah, but here in the fight on the enemy jungle, we just saw the problem we just mentioned in the draft. Esmeralda against the Freya will lose, and that's what we saw over there. Freya got poked down so fast by this Esmeralda, which it was completely disgusting to watch actually. And what an engage!
Wow. Another big bun happening in. Sona is the first one though to be taken down. The IU will be instantly traded, low HP, so Iwa takes care of Toby. But there's the Oogie Shadow Kill in the back line. Luvia joins too to make sure that the trade is a 3-4-2.
But I need to say, if I watch going for this game right now, it seems like Helicopters is already playing much better as they did in the last game, which is completely fine. They're showing right now against a very good team, which showed off in the last game how good they can be. They're showing off right now. They're showing, okay, we are also a team you need to respect, and that's what they're showing right now. They won't give them an easy win. They're trying their best to win this game as well, and to make Boris Esports a very hard time in this game. And that's something I really respect.
With the way how Fumitsu is playing in this one, man, I think so it's going to become even more difficult for them, for helicopters to try and contain him or her. That's the big problem. She has been just so on point with that Hayabusa. They are not really starting off the next turtle though. They kind of want to force out the retribution of Ayu. Or at least just try and steal away the orange buff too, though they were not yet able to, but it's still Shue who gets that, not the Freya. So half job done. Easy turtle secure coming in from Fumitsu without any problem. This Esmeralda is having her own time, no problems, trying to zone away 3 people all alone. That is massive.
This Esmeralda is going 1v5 without even taking any damage. That's actually crazy. I saw Louis poke trying to poke her. I saw Freya trying to poke her without any damage on this Esmeralda. I don't know how they
need dominance.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know right now if this continues to be like this. I don't know how Helicopters wants to come back into this game and taking the win. Because I really want to see the third game.
I don't see that happening. At least not right now.
Sadly, me neither. I mean, we see gold lead of
an error from. And that's the thing. They need to force an error on both esports, and maybe this could be the one. Maybe they can actually take down one. That could be Celia. Yeah, the neighbor getting shut down instantly there. That may be something that you could potentially try and replicate as the backline was being zoned out by the UV Shadow Kill. Now Celia. His revenge will be taken. Eva will be shut down instantly on that glue. Left alone on an island in a 1v4, so couldn't do anything else.
That was actually insane. We saw right now Hayabusa going in for 3 enemies.
Yeah.
And he baited out 3 flickers. He baited out the flicker of 3 of them. That was so insane. 3 people using flicker at the same time. Just for one UV Shadow Kill, as you just mentioned. Just for one the ultimate of the Hayabusa. And right now they won't have it for the next minute.
Exactly. So the slot should be pretty easy, uncontested. Frozen Esports already have somewhere around 7,000 goal lead in their favor. So as you also mentioned previously, they've got a ton of items already in their back pocket.
It will be pretty easy if we just look on the level difference. I mean, look at the Esmeralda. She's still staying into the enemies, and they're not able to poke her. They are not even dealing any damage to her.
Whoa. Whoa, when Shue gets bursted down in an instant. Have you seen any divine judgments coming in from her though?
I didn't saw it any yet. Wait, okay, what did I miss right now? I wasn't looking for 1 second, and Esmeralda, who didn't die the whole game, is dead somehow.
I underestimated the damage coming in from Rina as well as Lilith. So that is the bit of a problem now in the backline again. Celia is being zoned out. Dugi Shadow Kill though. Instantly takes down Ayu. The Hayabusa absolutely on point. Up on top though, nice Guardian's Barrier coming in, but the only one who's eventually caught on the other side was Eva. And that is a glue. You don't mind a glue being in a bit of the enemy's land there.
Biggest question, is it enough right now to come back into this game for the side of Helicopters? Because even if they got the kill and defended a lot, I don't think that will make a big difference, you know, because it still feels like they still have no chance against Boris Esports.
It was sure.
So yeah. It was sure they will get the mid lane turret over there. And right now we see the Esmeralda is taking 0 damage, and we can definitely see the damage outcome of Bruno also right now. Hayabusa with Yugi Shadow Kill. He deals such a great damage. It will be such a menace for these enemies. If he catch the carry, if he catch the Louis off guard, it will be done for them. They will be done completely.
Having a look at the items as well. Malefic Gun along with the Berserker's Fury and the Claw being made down for Celia on the Bruno. She's going to be problematic to deal with. They had the Sky Piercer stacked up pretty decently, maybe around 2 stacks on it. In the hands of Famitsu. Full-fledged burst. They've got the anti-heal coming in from the Grok, and apart from that, no one else, but they don't particularly care. Because the other side is just way too underfarmed.
Yeah, but just look Hayabusa's gold. He's 2k in the gold lead of the most enemies. Yes, and now he ended the blade. Oh my god. Oh, yeah. This will be huge. He will have much more damage now than he had before.
And he was previously bursting down people like Ayu in just one Oogie Shadow Kill. Now if he can do that without the BOD, think of what he can do after getting the BOD once, to especially Lilith and Rina.
Yeah, that's something I'm really scared to find out actually. I'm really scared of finding that out. Because even if it seems like Boss Esports is winning this game pretty easily, I'm going for the side of helicopters right now to come back into this game and winning this. But I'm really fearing this Hayabusa right now. He has the BOD right now. He deals already before the damage that he made with one Yugi Shadow Kill, almost 3 kills if they wouldn't have flickered out. But what is he able to do right now with the BOD? That's something I want to see. Even though for the side of helicopters, I wish them they won't find out what this Hayabusa can do now with the Yugi Shadow Kill. But I feel like they will find out pretty soon.
They need to buy themselves more time for the scaling. Rina getting that Wishing Lantern should potentially help them out a bit here. But there's already a couple of magic defense which I saw on the other side. So yeah, it will be tough. Lilith did build up the Demon Hunter sword a while back. Should be pretty close to the Golden Staff. Maybe if they defend this one wave, they can potentially have some time to utilize to get those items as well. Lord down to half HP. They're already using the speedy light wheels to try and shut it down. A nice catch onto the Hayabusa, but again the tectonic charge onto 3 should seal the deal here as you get that one already. Sona still surviving. A double kill coming in. Fumetsu up on top. Shue falls. Triple for the Bruno. The Neymar is shooting the shots. If not injured, that's what he can do. Make it a salvage. Celia will win the game for Boars Esports in style.
Huge congrats to Boars Esports. As I just mentioned, they look like they want to take the win of the tournament. And that's what they're showing us right now. Such great performance. And again, also in the second game, they out-rotated them, they outplayed them, they out-farmed them, they took everything. They had such better micro and macro gameplay. It seems like they are much more experienced as helicopters. And I'm really looking forward to the next days for the next games when we see them again. Especially Boars against Boars, because they're both in the same group as I saw, right? So they're probably going to play against each other also. So that's something I'm really looking forward to.
Man, I'm looking forward to that as well, right? Because with the way how things went, it was absolutely impeccable. But ladies and gentlemen, the 2 games that we saw today. First one, Boars Queens taking on lovely targets. It was a big draft diff, and we clearly saw Boars Queens winning that one out comfortably. Yet I must say, in the second one, it was even more domination. Boars Esports taking on helicopters. Even though there were the drafts had their own ideas, but Boars Esports were the ones who executed it to perfection. And with that, we have both the Boars team winning 2-0 each. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today evening. You all were watching the ESEL Female Pro League Season 1 Frozen Diva. This was your guys Synchro along with me Scared Yet, and we'll catch you guys on Thursday for the very same event. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon as well so that you do not miss out on any of the updates. Join the Discord server, follow the social media. We'll catch you guys on Thursday. Till then, bye bye. Good night.